What's the deal, my people? You know what it is, the Don Tony Teflon. Feel the issues, guy. This is escaping from episode 5, right after show. We are here to recap the show, go over everything. Phil, what's good with you, my brother?
Not too much. Great to be here with you, Tony. Enjoy this every week. And we got the live chat going crazy already. Keep your comments in. We also have a voicemail line open tonight, 781-990-8509. Get your voicemail in and your questions in for our very special guest tonight.
Yes, we are joined by the one, the only. You know it. You've seen the picture. She is here rocking with us. Let's say what up to everybody, and then we're gonna bring her right in here. We'll get the show popping right now. What up to Wolf Spear up in the building with us right now, rocking. Jesse is up in there. Our girl Shorty Womp Womp is up in the building, rocking with us right now. Oh, the Kramanako is up in here right now, rocking with us. TNX is in the building. Daniel is in the building rocking with us right now. We have a bunch of people in here, plus the people who are normally here, like Jackie C, our girls up in here. Sonic, your boy, is up in here. Winter is up in here. Everybody is in here. Steph Snow is in the building. Cheng Ji is up in the building rocking with us. We got so many people in here, but without a shadow of a doubt, let's bring our guests right on. You know her as Kenny's mother. Phil, will you do the introduction, please?
Okay, I will bring her in. The wonderful, the amazing. Let's bring her in, Elizabeth Moy.
Hello, thank you for joining us here on Teflon TV. You know what I've seen while watching this episode? That they had two people in there, and both of them pronounced your name on the show differently when they said your name. When Adana said your name, she did not say it the exact same way that another character said it. They said it both differently, which I thought was an interesting nuance. So if you can, please let us know exactly how your character's name is pronounced on the show.
I would say Tian Chan.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for rocking with us. We truly appreciate you coming on here. As always, when on Teflon TV, we have a tradition. We call it Rep Your Hood. So would you please let the people know where you were born and where you were raised, just in case it's two different spots?
Hi, everyone. I was born in Hong Kong. And I came to Canada in 1974 with my family. So I've been here for a while.
That's beautiful, beautiful. What I wish I have that we got a little special episode with you in there. You had a little bit something, but it seems like it's setting you up for the next episode. Is when you're going to actually get involved in this a little bit more and everything. The Kramanako says the town's mother is in the building rocking with us. And 08 Callie says, oh, she is so beautiful and has such a bright light about her. Thanks for coming on the show. And I agree. You and the rest of the ladies are just stunning. Let's give a shout out to the people who do the makeup because they really tone y'all down so much in the show. But you know, so much in the show. So shout out for them for doing that job, that they're able to even do that, because you and the other ladies are all just stunning and all beautiful. And we're so happy to have you. People are asking questions right off the bat.
Right off the bat, we have people in the chat asking if she is the mole, all that sort of stuff. But the first question I really want to ask is, this is one of your first roles acting. How did this role come to you? How was the audition process getting this role? Tell us a little bit about your process getting to From.
Like any other actors, I had to do auditions. So when they asked me to do the auditions, then I just did it. You know, I use my audition as a learning tool. So every time when I do an audition, I'm really serious about it, and I have a coach that walk me through with it. And you know, as an actor, I've learned to not ask questions. I just do the audition, just submit them, and that's it. Go on with your life. But for some reason, with this character, there's something that's pulling me. And after I submit the audition, like maybe, I don't know, I don't remember right now, 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks later, and I asked my agent, have you heard? I would really want to play this
Oh,
character because it's just so me. So, anyways, yeah, and then I got called back and I met with Jack Bender. He's such an awesome director and he just so encouraging. So I met with him and then I haven't heard. I did my call back and then I haven't heard. And then maybe I don't remember the timing. Maybe a week or two later, then I got the
wow.
confirmation that I got it. So yeah, but I couldn't say anything, right? So I had to
Mhm.
keep quiet for a while.
Well, we are so glad you got it.
You're
You
lucky
so
you
much
got
love.
it. Yeah.
It would not be the same going on. We got Diana Blackwood up in the chat. Everybody put a House Blackwood up in the chat for Diana Blackwood up in there. House Blackwood, Song of Ice and Fire. People know what that means. Put that up in the chat. All right, so you came into acting a little bit later in life. So what made you want to switch careers and become an actor?
Um, I always wanted to do background acting, but I couldn't because I always had a full-time job. One of my best friends is an background actor when she was long time ago. So, anyways, I had the opportunity to do background in 2018, and I'm a people person. So once I started with the background, I really liked being on set.
Yeah.
I really liked meeting different people.
Addicting.
And I know my limit because sometimes when I think I don't need all these people around me, then I'll go away and just to give myself some time away. I'm older, so I kind of know when I need to pull away, when I can be with people. And it's on set when I was doing background that I saw the HR theories put in action. The
Mhm.
synergy on set is just amazing. It's long, it's a long day, but I just felt the energy, the synergy, the positivity on set. And after a while, I thought, you know what? I think I really like this.
It's addicting. It
Yes,
really is very addicting. And
yes.
and you killed it. Tony talked about it earlier about leading into the next episode. Tonight you got, I would say, your biggest moment, this biggest stuff to really dig in. You got a couple of really good things in season 1, but today that scene with you and Sarah was just amazing, and so much energy, and then at the end your explosion and talk a little bit about filming that scene, how that felt, playing that part and getting to kind of flex your muscles a little bit in that scene, and in the scene with Boyd later at the end of the episode where there's just so much silent acting you're doing right there in that scene. I think it's almost the definition of showing, not telling. Some people may say that's an unfinished scene. I don't see that as an unfinished scene. That we know exactly what happens in that. Harold's so good, you're so good. But I just talk a little bit about sinking your teeth in a little bit more in this episode.
It's a mixed feeling. I still have mixed feeling about what went on, right? With Sarah, with my husband, and yes, there's anger, there's frustration, there's sadness, but there's also this power of letting go. Obviously, um, I guess, with that, I've actually never lashed out like that before. This is my first time ever lashing out. And guess what? And if with that, all that frustration, all that conflict, all that anger and sadness, all those emotions piled, all squished up into one ball. And it was so liberating to do
Feels
that lash out. And even liberating as for me as a real person, because I'm a little bit like Tin Chan. I'm a people person, but I try to suppress my heart emotions or my heavy emotions, and so doing that actually releasing some of my own
yeah.
stuff. So it was really good, actually. It's sad, but it's frustrating. But it's almost like after that I was a different person. literally. And with boy, it's almost like, yes, I love him as a sheriff, but just that secret from keeping that from me, it just, I guess it's all that anger. And once I get angry with people in real person too, in real life, I tend not to talk to them.
Yeah, you like cut them out. It's not the fire and the rage that comes more when you care about somebody, and that's so amazing that because I know what you're saying. I consider myself a people person as well, and you connect with people, and a lot of times you please people. It builds up a little bit, and you don't want to freak out. And then when you find a great opportunity like that within a scene to play a moment, it must have felt so good just from, like you said, for yourself and within the character to find that real reaction, that real acting reaction. It really showed on screen. It was one of the best scenes in the episode, and I was feeling your explosion in the kitchen. I've been there, and I think Tony and I can both relate to that, to being like so frustrated. You just throw stuff and then you finally explode because I think all three of us want to be good to people, but there's only so much you could take.
Especially someone when you deal with someone who, is basically your in fact your daughter. Like you're looking at her as the daughter that you never had, and you've taken her under your wing, and she works with you in there, and in like like a mom and pop diner, and she's there with you the whole time. And for her to be the one, it's just such a hurt, more than this. You're so mad, but you're really just hurt about the whole situation. Like, after all I've done for you and everything I've done for you, how could you hurt me so bad? And it just hurts even more because I care about you so much that I want to be mad at you, but I still have feelings. Do you think that she still has a place in her heart for Sarah?
Oh, definitely. There's still that little bit for Sarah. That's why I say it's a mixed emotion. It's like both are so strong. I really liked her. I took her under my wing. She's like a daughter. And for someone so close to you, you thought they could hurt you so much, that hurt is even more amplified. You know what I mean?
1,000%. Yep.
Yeah.
It hurts the most, the people that hurt you. If we go, I don't want to always quote The Godfather, but that Fredo hurt Michael the most because it's a brother. Like if someone betrays you and they're closer to you, it's even more pain. It feels like more of an FU. We have a couple of voicemails to play for you right now. Some questions and comments. This is from area code 318.
Good evening, Tony and Phil, and the fabulous lady of the hour. Thank you so much for being here. This show, oh my gosh, I'm so terrified of episode 6. And I really don't feel like these episodes have been filler. They have been very interesting. If you pay close attention, there's so many clues and cues. So, first of all, you are really playing that part. There's a lot of nuances in what you do. And I wonder how much you know about what's going on there, your character. I know as an actor, they don't give you a lot of details, but thank you so much for everything you're doing. It's really awesome. Bye-bye, y'all.
Great call. And I think ultimately they're trying to ask you if you're responsible, if this tea thing is true. We were talking about it before the show. Are you poisoning the tea?
Something going on in that tea.
Tell us the truth. What are you doing with the tea? Don't hold back.
Oh, that's a good question. I just make tea. Tea is my thing, right? Chinese people drink tea. We drink tea from morning to night.
Yeah.
And and a lot of Chinese people know a lot of things about mushroom. We grow mushroom.
All right, that's very interesting. We appreciate that tidbit of the mushroom tea.
Absolutely, I fully support microdosing. Okay, area code, not our good friend at the voice at 916.
Hello, this is the voice at 916. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Phil. This is number 2. And happy belated birthday. We missed you on our last live stream.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, Elizabeth, and thank you for joining us tonight. We have so many questions and so much interest in your character and the show as a whole. I'd really like to say, first of all, how beautiful that moment was when Tien and Jade shared at Tien's husband's altar in expressing her grief, and how Jade comforted her and how she allowed him to comfort her and shared a tender moment. That was so beautiful. But my question is, could you tell us a little bit about Tien's backstory prior to her coming to Fromville, and maybe compare that life to the one she is now living in Fromville and that scary town and situation, as well as, can you describe a little bit maybe what that drive was like coming to Fromville just before they hit the fallen tree? Anyway, thank you so much for joining us again. And as always, peace and stay sexy.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
great call. So yeah, did you get any backstory? Did you create your own backstory, and how much, if any of that, could you share without giving anything away?
A lot of it is actually I created myself, so I'm not sure if my backstory is actually aligned with the writer's backstory. But certain things certain things we did talk about it, so we actually come to agreement on certain things. But I'm not sure if I'm at the liberty to talk about that. But how I get myself into the character is pretty much a lot of it is substitution, I guess, using a lot of my own life in her life. I'm a immigrant. I came here when in the 70s. So there's a lot of struggle that I went through as an immigrant, as someone who's trying to fit into the culture. And I don't remember if I talked about that on one of the Facebook thing. So anyways, when I was younger and when I was a teenager, I tried to fit into the Canadian culture. I tried to abandon my Chinese language at home. So it wasn't so that, when I went home, I spoke English. I didn't want to speak Chinese. My parents didn't say anything. They just let me be. It was my brothers, my 2 older brothers. They got really mad at me, and they gave me their peace of mind. And then after that, I thought, okay, all right. And I kept up with my Chinese then, ever since after that. So there was one incident so I'm just so grateful that I didn't give up my language, that I didn't give up reading and speaking the language, because it really helped me develop as a person. And also because I'm such a people person, I like to talk, right? I like to talk to people. So I can communicate with older people in Chinese and get to hear their point of view. So it's really helpful having 2 languages.
Yeah,
It sure is. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy that you did. I think we went through the same thing on here when I first started doing YouTube and stuff. And I was doing like a Game of Thrones type stuff. And everybody there was so like well spoken and everything else. So I tried to blend in, and I didn't try to say any slang words and everything. It was actually, meeting Phil and watching how free Phil was. And I was like, oh, if this guy can be himself, I'm going to be myself. And if they don't accept me, so what? I'm just going to be me. And that's what got me thinking about that. But again, going back to the show a little bit, I know that you were, your character was already devastated for the fact that, she may feel responsible for her husband's death because she put him in this place and he wanted to stay home. But it was, her and Kenny thought it was for the best for him to be there. And then to find out that the fact that he was there, and then this woman, this little girl that you love so much, is actually the responsible way. It's just like a double blow and everything else. How was it working with the actor who plays your son?
Oh, Kenny, it's great having him around. Um, he's my little teacher too. Because I'm so new in acting, there are times that I was just lost on set sometimes. And so he would tell me, he would explain to me, and playing with him, we just build that bond. So we actually met together. We got together before our first day on set.
Awesome.
And a lot of times when we have a dialogue in Chinese, extended dialogue in Chinese, we would often meet before we film, just to make sure that, whatever we say it's natural to us. Because obviously he's younger, and a lot of his lingual in Chinese is a little bit more modern, whereas I'm older and I have, my language skills is older. So I use
Different
ling-
dialects.
different dialects, different words, and so there's that little time difference, but we have to be comfortable, right? We have to make sure we are comfortable with that. And also, I forgot to mention about before that, not only the guilt of me putting the family there, it's the guilt Tin Chan carries, that didn't believe that Alzheimer is really a disease, and she denied the fact that, oh, he's not going to get better, he's just going to get worse. But no, she kept saying, you're going to get better, you're going to get better. It's almost like that we do in Chinese culture, that we put a lot of the negativities under the rug. So if it's swept under the rug, everything will be fine. If you don't see it, it will be fine.
My family was like that too. Just show the positive side. Doesn't matter if XY has this disease or dying of this thing. Let's just get to the Christmas party. Everything will be all right. Let's all tidy up. It's tough. It's building the house of cards, as they say. So that's just gonna fall. We do have a couple more voicemails. This is area code 919.
Oh, hey, Tony and Bill and Elizabeth. This is Nikita at 919. I just wanted to say that I think you are the perfect actress to do this role. Just bravo. With that quiet anger. I think that's the best way to express anger and hurt and betrayal. And I just think it was wonderful. I felt that. I too have that. When you're just so hurt, you just can't even muster up the loudness. It was just perfect. It was just perfect. I thought I just wanted to call to tell you that.
Oh.
I thoroughly enjoyed your performance. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And it's so true in that sense of that frustration, that building anger, the feeling of also what you were saying about dealing with the Alzheimer's, and that's always there. Even when it's a good day, it's always there, and you can feel your character playing that weight of, even at the beginning before the incident happens, it weighs on somebody dealing with that. And also when that disappears, it releases you to a certain extent, for good or for bad. And that's why, you're seeing you open up and show more emotions and such, now that you're not focused so much on that as well. And Sarah, in a way, let you go as well by taking some of that pain away from you, that thinking it's your fault.
Yeah, no, it's all of that is so true in real life too. Actually, I myself dealing with Alzheimer in my family. My mom just passed last year from Alzheimer. So it's almost like, that's what I'm saying, the universe has it, God has it, that a lot of the story of Tin Chan, it's actually very much where I'm coming from, or where I'm at. But what makes it so fun with the film is with the show is the cast, the crew makes this journey such an amazing one. And also the actor, I mean the viewers and you guys, it's just making our journey so much more amazing and engaging. So thank you.
No, thank you. All right. Again, don't be shy. Call up, leave a message for this beautiful woman who decided to come out here and face all of you and rock with the Don Tony Teflon. Fill the issues guide. The number is 781-990-8509. If you're overseas, you can use the issues guy at gmail.com and you can leave a voicemail there. We're happy to see everybody up here. We have over 250 people live. Please hit that thumbs up for your boy and everything else and all that. All right, so let me ask you this. I would like to let you know that there's a rumor going around, and I have started it personally.
People in the chat are poking it too.
That you could be the mole. Now I know there's something that you can't answer and everything else, but just know that we do believe. I love you. I do, and but you could be the mole, and we don't know if you are or anything else, but it could be you, girl. You know what I mean? But I'm sure you see it in the Facebook chats and everything else. And yes, and everyone in the chat is saying sorry for your loss of your mother, and we definitely echo that here and everything else. Toast to you and everything else again. We all love you, you know what I mean? But people don't think I was going to ask you that or say anything about it, but they don't know me very well, it must be. But yeah, you could be the more. Have you heard that or seen that rumor in the Facebook chats and everything else?
I think I did. Someone talked about Jin Chen poisoning people, and her husband was the first one, right? Is that the one?
Yeah,
that is the one. Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I thought, oh wow, that's a really interesting theory. And you know what? I would like to play a villain. I really do. I would like to play a villain in disguise as an angel.
All right,
someone cast her right now. I think that would be awesome.
Do that. I think that she's got it. Well, the mole has to be somebody who can blend in, and no one thinks it's going to be them. That's why you're top of the list. What episode? Lauren is asking. What episode is your most forward episode for people to watch? If you had to pick one episode in this season, I don't know if you've seen all the episodes or anything like that, but from what you remember or anything, what episode would you think that people should keep their eye open for?
Oh, well, 5 was one of the ones that I really enjoy, but number 6, and then number 10. It's like, so 6 and 10, it's almost like, what?
Yeah. Second time we've heard 10 too. Second time we've heard 10.
Yeah, second time we've heard 10. Another number here. We keep hearing 6.
Yeah.
6 is the episode. We're gonna see number 6 and everyone. The second time we have heard 10 from the cast member, so we have to keep our eye out. Let's deal with Kenny a little bit. We said that me and Phil, we came up with a thing that we might see before the season started, that we might see Kenny break bad, meaning that, and I'm sure that you've watched the show.
Yeah, we were just talking about Breaking Bad.
We just talked about that, so you understand what the concept of being Breaking Bad is. We figured that a lot of stuff is going wrong in Kenny's life right now. He lost his girlfriend. He's found this out about his father. Only thing we think holding Kenny together is you. If something was to happen to your Kenny, to your character, that would be the end of Kenny. Kenny might just break bad. Do you think Kenny was justified for breaking the little statue and acting that way? Do you think that's something that his mother would approve of, him doing that?
I think the mother I really resonate with him. The mother really resonate. My little boy is actually being hurt. And he, like losing his father was heartbreaking. So when I think the mother, I really understand the lash out. Is it justified? I think so. But I think Tin Chen would probably talk to Kenny about it later. Lashing out, it's okay. And is that the best we can do? Right. So it breaks my heart, that scene, because you have Kenny, he's reacting to everything going on, and then you have Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, it's like that's been another heartbreak too, right? For me, it's like, oh my goodness, you have two children. Yes, Kenny is supposed to be my blood child, and Sarah's not, but essentially, you have two children. In a monster land. Like, what do you do, right? Like, so yeah, no, I totally, I love them both, and if they lash out, yeah, it breaks my heart actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we have children, right? And you grow up and you have children and stuff. And I have two daughters. Sometimes my girls would fight, and I would tell them, but I think it's a natural thing. Children are going to fight, whether it's for attention or dominance or whatever it is, And it was really my younger daughter who would always lash out at my older daughter because especially when her friends were around, like she just get jealous that she was giving her friends more attention. And then that's when she would grab her hair or pull her hair or do something like that to get that attention back, from her, and because she felt, shunned because she had some company coming over and stuff. So I definitely see that going down and everything else, and it's a hard thing to deal with because you got discipline one child and everything else, but you do understand why the child is actually acting out and stuff. So it's definitely a hard situation to deal with.
And speaking of that scene, I do think it's interesting though that your character had a chance to do the same thing. You could have smashed that box down on her and refused to give her any of that stuff. You chose to just be like, no, take your stuff, get out of my life. In the sense that Kenny walked up to her being like, what are you talking to my mom? If even within your character with age learned that the colder thing to do is to just be like, nope, you're gone to me. You're not even, we were talking about that earlier. You're not even worth the rage. So it's interesting how both of you approach the same kind of thing. And to answer the call's question, how I think, like you said, the mother will in a different time. Like, I appreciate what you were doing, but she's nothing to us. Don't break, don't let our pain and her being dead to us affect her situation with her brother. She has her own stuff. Like, your character seems like someone that will eventually almost get to that in your own head and try to bring Kenny back from the depths.
It's almost like, like what Ethan said today's episode. What did he say? You have to face the fear. I wrote it down somewhere. You have to face the fear, or you can't that's how you get your power back.
Yep.
And so it's almost like, what you talk about. Yes, taking the power back, but then also it's still painful. We still have to release that. But it's just almost, how do you do it? With Kenny, he's dealing with so much and he lashed out. It's unfortunate for both of them. But I think, but Kenny is also hurt because I think, was it last week that he said,
Boyd, yeah.
It was last week that he said, oh, you're like my sister. My mom treats you like a daughter, right? So he's still in that trusting moment with her, and so now it's almost like, oh, this is like a sister to me, and you betray me, and that hurt and that pain is so much stronger. It's really hard to take, actually.
I agree. In real life, people want to know: are you a good cook in real life, or you just play one in the show?
I have my moments. I like to bake more. Like, I like to bake muffins and cookies. But in terms of cooking, I cook enough to just so I don't get hungry.
Same with me. I can heat stuff up really good. I can heat up a jar of pasta sauce pretty good. We get a couple more voicemails.
Let's take this super chat from Luna. Luna left a super chat, says, what does Tension think about the new people in town?
What does Tin Chan think about the new people?
Yes.
Wow, there's so many people. And all Tin Chan is thinking about is, how am I going to feed these people? I think, she found her purpose in that
Mhm.
town. Her purpose is to feed people, make sure people are well fed. The basic need is being met. That's her purpose there. Giving them tea with lots of mushrooms
Mhm.
and food so right now Tin Chen is probably just thinking about, oh, how am I going to feed all these people?
Yeah, I mean, your spot, the diner, is the most iconic location in the show. Like, it's the most known place in the show. It's the hub of the show. Like, if I went there, that's what it is. What up to my man Pete Easy? I see you, brother. I would want to go to the diner. They said, "Oh, you can pick one spot to go to." I'm going to the diner. The diner is the show, and that is your spot. You have all of the town meetings happen outside there. When a new bus arrives, they arrive at the diner. The music box is always playing at the diner. You have all the people's stuff in the back of the diner. So your spot, you are the hub. You are the heart of this town. And I think your character, as I said, that they play you as the mother of the town. But just like you say to Tabitha's character, often mothers have to stick together, and raise up. And it's a crowded house. It really is.
Now it's a very crowded house.
Mm-hmm.
How is it acting with the actor? Everyone loves Jade. They love this character. Well, the voice of 916 talked about the scene when you seem to be the only one that he respects and will like he ain't talking back to you. He may do that to everybody else, but how is it playing with him?
Oh, it's amazing with Jade. I think the dynamics was that developed in season one. And I think it was like, for me, it was surprised. It was a surprise to me that I didn't realize that, oh, this is where we are going. So when it went the way it did, I just thought, oh, it's really interesting. And also Jade. Jade is really fun to play with. He's actually into his character and he does it so well. I think it's the when I hit him on the back of his head in season one, I think that set the bar, right? You don't mess with me, right?
Mhm.
If you're around me, you behave. And I think that's really set the bar. So after that, I think, he probably sees Tin Chan as the mother figure that I have to listen, or even grandmother figure. I don't know. Because he talked about his grandmother and he doesn't really have, he didn't have his mother for a long time. Right. So yeah, so I think, it takes one person to set his boundary. And that happened to be Ten Chan, because everyone else just saw him as who he is, on the outside. But I think that's a really cover up for what he's needing here. He's really need mother's love.
Yeah, family connection, mother's love.
Yeah.
Does seem that way. We did have a couple of voicemails from area code 352. Your voicemail got cut off. I'm very sorry. And 773, it was hard to get you, but I did understand what you were saying. 773 wanted to ask you, basically the show is set in middle America, USA, but it's filmed with Canada with Canadian cast and crew. Do you feel like there's any Canadian culture that comes through on this show? Ultimately, I think was the question they were asking.
Oh, what do you guys think?
Canadian culture, I would say most of what I see of Canada is that they're very nice in Canada. Canadians are very nice, and I would say that everyone being more welcoming is what I would, because if this was in New York, it would be a dog eat dog world. Like it
Really?
wouldn't. Oh yeah, no, you're not going through my bag. You're not. There's no share life. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine too.
Ridiculous, right?
That's the way it is in New York. So I think, to me, if I had to pick something, Canadians
Coloring
are
house.
so nice. When I've traveled out there a couple of times, they're just so nice. You know what I mean? So I would say the niceness and the sharing. Like, the actor who plays Boyd, he's from Brooklyn. So when you see him in there not messing around, like I see the Brooklyn in him. You know, that seems more, that's straight Brooklyn right there, you know. So, but I would say that's what it would be for me. That. What about you, Phil?
Yeah, I would also say that. I would just say the question was, I kind of prefaced the question with what my answer was. It was the compared to the synopsis, which is pretty much set in the middle of USA. What is the Canadian influence? Because and I would say it's that the entire crew and cast, most of which are Canadian. So even if it doesn't come through on the show itself in the broadcast, it's the community that the cast have and the crew feel like that family, which feeds into the nice aspect that you've talked about. Even members of the crew that have contacted us privately in messages being like, hey, how's it going? Don't say anything, but I watch you guys. It's awesome. There just seems to be like a genuine friendliness and community within your cast and crew that's, that to answer that person's question, that would probably be my answer.
But actually, like the family, it's actually including viewers, and a lot of the viewers are in US. I feel like, like my experience with everyone so far, with you guys, with other podcaster, with viewers, you guys have been very nice.
No, thank you.
It's like
you're getting us on a good day. I mean, we're having someone over to the house. Like if Tony and I are alone together and hanging out, we might, not be so nice. But this is like when you invite a guest over, you got to put on your best clothes. I mean, no, we appreciate that. We very, very much do.
Yeah, and I did see the super chat that was just sent there. I'm gonna, when we only have her on here for a little bit longer, and I'll take all your super chats and Brianna out, and I'll talk about all those speculations and stuff in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to get into a full recap in a bit. We just want to take one last voicemail that we have right now, which goes over a point that we talked about before, but it's a good voicemail from a longtime caller. So let's play this, and has a couple questions for you at the end. So area code 305.
Hey, good evening. It's Mika Lee. Hey, Tony. Hey, Phil. Hi, Elizabeth. I just love you as Kenny's mom. You're so cute. When you broke the teacup and you're like, oh, you're so cute. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for, giving us a great show. Your character is amazing, and I admire all of your work. I guess my question for you is, what is your favorite restaurant, or what is your favorite movie, or have you ever been to the Florida Keys? Anyway, congratulations, Tony, on your 70,000 plus subscribers, and happy belated birthday, Phil. Elizabeth, keep up the good work, and you guys have a great night.
I love Mika. I love the random questions. So favorite movie, favorite restaurant, and have you ever been to the Florida Keys?
I don't know where that is.
It's the little islands off the boots of Florida, like, I believe.
Yes.
Oh no, I haven't. No.
Have you been to the United States on a regular basis or no?
Yes, I've been to LA, Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, San Diego, Seattle, of course.
A lot of West Coast. You haven't been down the East Coast then.
East Coast. Oh, Boston.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Boston, New York. Yeah.
Boo. Oh, New York's so nice.
In terms of favorite food, I don't know if I have any favorite food. I eat a lot of stuff. I like fusion. I like a lot of fusion, like Chinese fusion, Thai fusion, Malaysia, Indonesian. So a lot of Asian food. But I also like Western food. So it's like I like to eat.
Nice.
Now you're making me
If you come out here to New York, I will take you to a beautiful soul food restaurant, and I'll feed you. You'll eat really well.
Yeah. And in terms of movie, Blind Side. That's what I can think of. Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock, The Blind Side. I would have never thought that you picked that. I think everyone has their own movie. That's beautiful. The Blind Side by Sandra Bullock. Good movie. I like that movie.
I really like that. And then also I have not finished. I also like Joy Luck Club.
Join that
That's
club.
Joy Luck Club. It's the first Asian movie. I don't
Okay.
remember if it's in the 80s or 70s. And it's about a few Asian women in the United States and about them and also their children. So it's almost like immigrant story with their children are, I don't know if they were born in US or if they came when they were really young. So it's talked about the mix of culture between the first generation and the second generation. And also, of course, uh, crazy rich Asian.
Great.
That was very good. Jackie C, real quick, saying the best soul food is in the South, not New York. Let me tell you something, Jackie C. All right, Sylvia's is the most recognized soul food restaurant in the world, and Sylvia's is in Harlem. All right, and so when you talk about soul food in New York, is the culture of everything. We have the best restaurants all over every cuisine. All are found in New York. This is what we do. You don't got to go nowhere else. So
Carla says, come to Australia and get some shrimp on the bobby. We've got a first-time caller here, and I just want to make sure we get that call in before Elizabeth has to run. This is from area code 678.
This is my first time calling. My name is Maria, calling from Georgia. I'm gonna be so stoked if this gets asked. Okay, I'm so sorry. My first question, it's just two questions, but like I really would love to know.
No, we're not accident. You leave it. We're playing it.
That's it.
From Elizabeth's point of view, what is up with everyone giving out teeth?
Teeth.
Is there
teeth,
a hidden message behind that, or like why is it that almost every episode you give someone tea? And if it is a hidden message, where are those tea leaves are coming from? Does that have something to do with what's going on in that town? And I love Elizabeth. Like, Elizabeth, you have no idea. I love you. I love you. I love you. And you did so phenomenal at the last episode with Sarah. Oh, my Atlanta. But yes, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I love you. Bye.
Oh, I love the "Oh My Lanta" comment. Yes, full house, baby. Toast.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I gotta toast the thug mug up.
It's the tea. See, food and drinks. It's really the thing. You know, like that's how we survive. Those are the basic needs. So if someone poisoned those, mystery.
That would be the ideal thing to poison, right? Everyone's using that. So if you were going to put something in something, I think all the pancakes, because those pancakes is, they're popular. I mean, Jim, he's underneath there telling the diet man, "Hey, shut up! You gotta get some pancakes in the morning." Like that's the reason.
Telling those pancakes, Tony.
Like, oh, really? Let me just shut my mouth. I got a house on my chest.
Don't worry, Tony. We got pancakes.
I'm getting pancakes in the morning.
And the pancakes are sterilized. Like they're big.
They are big.
Oh, M Easy in the live chat says that was my call and my question. Y'all made my day. I mean my night. Thank you. You made ours calling on, and we really do appreciate it.
No doubt. And we're gonna talk about this soul food debate on another stream because y'all's bugging. All right, so
Yeah, we can do.
I'll put my collard greens up versus anybody out there. My mom's from North Carolina. See, a lot of people. New York is everywhere. Like everyone from New York is from somewhere else. Only a lot of some New Yorkers are born there, like me. But a lot of New Yorkers are there migrated to New York. A lot of people. My mom and all my family from North Carolina. So every soul food I got is North Carolina soul food from, but it's up in New York. So anytime anybody want to, we get that. We'll talk that somebody else. So
I just have one quick question. Is it Sylvia or Solvi still in New York?
Yes, Sylvia's in New York. Yeah, yep.
It's still open?
That will never go away. Never go away. I mean, she has now. You can find her products in supermarkets and everything else now. and stuff. But no, she's still out there in New York. That's just what it is. No, she's the most famous, guaranteed, worldwide. She
I went
has.
there in 2016 with my girlfriends.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
That is beautiful. Now we're talking about you. Let's talk about you real quick. We know you. We have a lot of talented people on this show. We have the actor who plays Jay's a talented violinist. The actor who plays Elgin is a singer. We have the actor who plays Victor. Is in the band. Do you have any musical talents that people don't know about from the show?
I just play the piano, and I used to play the flute. I still have my flute, but I haven't played that for a while. I wanted to pick it up again. Yeah.
Yeah, just playing the piano is not just playing the piano.
Notice how she downgraded. She's like, I just played the piano. I'm just an award-winning piano player. I graduated with an MFA in piano, and I can play classical pieces, and I'm working on a concerto. But just whatever.
I played the recorder. That's all I was able to play.
I hit things.
Hey, we can do a duet.
I would love to do
a band going.
The three of us, let's start a band.
You can definitely get a band going up in there without a shadow of doubt.
Tony, you'll play the recorder and sing. I'll play drums, and Elizabeth will play the piano. We're three-piece jazz.
We're going on the road with this.
We're doing it, Tony. We're doing it.
We're going on the road with this.
I'd watch us. I'd buy tickets to our show.
I would too.
Perfect.
See, and I think everybody in the chat would rock with us and everything else without a doubt. All right, we're gonna let you go because we know that we know you have to bounce. But thank you so much for coming on here and just rocking with us. I truly appreciate it that you're in there and stuff, that you came here. It's amazing that you were actually willing to come on here and talk to little old me and Phil. That just means so much to us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for asking, and thank you for everyone for watching. I'm so honored and pleased that you guys asked, and I'm just so honored to be in this journey with you guys all.
Oh, that means everything. We really do appreciate it, and we hope we can have you back next season as well in the future and talk to you again.
Or at the end of this season, we were thinking about doing a huge wrap up with a whole bunch of different people at the end of the season and stuff, and we'll try to get both of the Elizabeths on here at the same time, and everybody else. So hopefully, but I'll be in contact with you now. You know what I mean? Sure. We'll talk about all that stuff and everything else.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is the great Elizabeth Moy. Everybody follow her on Twitter. She's on there, and follow. She's in she's on the Facebook chats too, and she's reacts and stuff because I commented comments, and she's actually reacted to a couple of my comments on there, and it was shocked to me. I was like, she reacted to my comment. So thank you so much for coming on stream. We truly appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So another great guest, Tony. Another
great. And people over here in the chat saying that Kenny's going to have a new stepdaddy, and his name is Tony Teflon. Right about that.
Can I be like Uncle Joey from Full House, sleeping in the alcove and the couch and stuff? I'm gonna be like taking Jade's bedroom. Like, Jade, get out of here. That's Uncle Phil.
Me and Phil are moving in. We're moving in up here.
Uncle Phil's bedroom. But come on, get out of there.
Me and Phil are moving in. And
I'm the new smelly hippie from Colony House that's moving in. That's me, mother grabber.
I was like, Kenny be rocking. You see Kenny up here in polo shirts next, rocking with the dot, hanging in with a Yankee hat on.
Tony, but it's about time. It was awesome having our guest, but we've wasted. Let's waste no more time and get. Whoa, sorry about the music. And get right into our recap. Don't worry, this is not copyrighted music. This is not copyright. This is my bass player playing bass. So the episode opens up, and we're going to recap the episode and get into some thoughts. And I'm sure Tony will get into theories more on Wednesday night, but we'll talk some stuff here tonight. But we open up, and there's some stuff I watched Tony's review, and there's some stuff I 100% agree with him on, and there's some stuff I want to expand that he said, and he can correct me if I incorrectly quote him from his video. And if you haven't watched it, make sure you check out his review. He sets up a lot of really interesting theories for this particular episode. So we open up with Randall in the bus. Great shot of him in the dark. We hear knocking on the door. It's the Nana creature again. She's saying, "Are you comfortable in there?" And we see it. It's like a whole tailgating thing. All the monsters are hanging out. They have a cookout. They roll in the grill. They're hanging out by the getting ready to go see the Giants play the Patriots. It's a great time. Anyways, and then Randall is very much just like, fuck you. He's like, do you think this is scary? What am I supposed to be to all this stuff? And he just keeps screaming. And as long as he doesn't knock down that talisman, he's shit talking them. And then they just start walking away. A couple of them say, see ya. One of them says, see ya, as they're walking away. I do also want to point out that the nurses' outfits didn't look too clean when we got them close. And I don't know if that's kind of what Tony was saying, just a reskin from season 1 to season 2 to get a little bit more of a realistic look. But the thing that Tony was talking about, like maybe they walked away because they realized that they're not scaring him. I also think maybe part of it is they realize from sussing out a guy like Randall, what's really going to scare him, Tony, is being alone. Is no one listening to him. Actually walking away from him is doing worse to him than standing out there. You're giving him exactly what he wants. And it's not even just that they're not getting the fear that they want from him. It is that. But to elicit that fear, they're walking away and leaving him alone. At least that's
no doubt about it. Listen, let me just say that. Wait, I'm not here to brag to y'all, but God damn it, if this episode didn't prove that the Don Tony Teflon got like 4 or 5 more.
Tony, before you go on a little bit, I have to throw in another one. They directly reference experiments from World War II.
Directly
reference. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to add a little bit more flavor to your fire.
This was some Nazi type situation in this situation, and I told you, and they said it in the show. They said it. They put it right in the show. I told you this motherfucker went crazy and killed everybody, and I told you. And I'm telling you again, this has got to do with aliens. But y'all don't want to believe me, but keep not believing me. And we're gonna keep going. This chip ain't going in my goddamn mouth. Y'all know. So I'm trying to tell you, man. I've been doing this for a long time. Whether it was Outer Range, A Song of Ice and Fire, Dexter, Asheville. I got the receipts. I got all that shit right for all these different shows. This is what it goes. And that's just the way it is. And
I was thinking about you a lot. I made a lot of references. And again, I'm not one. I've come out here. I disagree with Tony about the worms versus the spiders, all that sort of shit. I'm not afraid to go up against Tony and tell him what I think is wrong. But this was an episode where, and yeah, I am a little bit of an Ed McMahon sometimes, where I'll be like, yes, sir, you are correct. I don't give a fuck. I'll take that and be honorable about it. But even Ed got drunk sometimes and yelled at Johnny. So the point of it is, and he didn't invite him on fucking Star Search. That's for damn sure. But no, my point is that in this episode, I was writing down a lot on my notes. Oh, that's a Tony reference. That's a reference to Tony tonight. So this was a Tony episode here for you.
It really was. But yeah, going to the episode itself. Yeah, I think they showed. I know people are here like, oh, I think that they were gonna flip the bus over. They have not displayed that type of hostility ever. The only time we've seen them do something like that was when the guy was in the box and they were able to get through him and they ripped through the walls. So it has to be something going on with the talisman that doesn't allow them to go and just ransack it. Because you think they could shake it down, but they don't do that. They don't do anything like that. You know what I mean? So, but you would think they would, but they do not do it. So when dealing with this dude, I definitely think that fear has something to play. And I'm going to put this in the video soon, in one of my next videos. Fear has a major factor to do this. Because once they realized he wasn't afraid of them, they were just like, all right, we out. We're going to go scare somebody else and start screaming at someone else. Because you heard the screams, and they said that they stopped doing the screams, but they didn't do that for a while. They stopped screaming. And I think once the fear was gone, they went to a different tactic. And that's why when you see that chicken, she had the rod through her head. It's a different way to make somebody afraid. And I think that's what they're doing and everything else. And when they seen that Randall wasn't afraid, and like he was about to open that door, you know what I mean? Because he was so upset. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go out there and bust your ass." But then he was like, "Wait a second, wait, y'all can't do nothing to me." Thing to nana. You gotta what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You can't do nothing. And then they just said, "All right, we out of here. We can't mess with
Tony,
you."
he totally nana boo-booed him completely. I want to touch on something before, because I did mention this in my notes, but I want to give T credit in the live chat for saying this too, because, and I want to bring this back to something that people said before that was a passive thing, that again with the worms, that possibly that the worms got activated when the music box went off in Martin's little cave there situation. A little bit more backup for that is what T is saying in the live chat, that the creatures seem to react to the music with Boyd. They weren't doing anything in his arm, and when the Roy Orbison song kicked in, Dreams it's called, I have the lyrics that I'll read a little bit later, the worms seem to dance. So I don't know if the music has anything to do with the worms, but there's, in the words of Newman and JFK, there's some smoke, not fire. There's some smoke there. There's a little smoke. I haven't quite seen fire yet, but there is something to the music might trigger the worms of some sort, because it did seem like the worms started swimming once that song started playing. And it's not just a soundtrack to the show, Tony, because we actively see Boyd hear the music in scene. So the jukeboxes going on are actually it's not just a dream sequence for the audience kind of thing going on. That's actually happening in world, that either the Truman Show guy at the switchers flipping it on, or it means, or it's someone sending messages to help them save. But
yeah, well, then you have to start thinking, if that's the case, the jukebox is a friend. All right, let's get that straight.
Is the jukebox a friend or a foot?
It is. The jukebox is a friend. Whoever is playing the songs in the jukebox are playing the songs
Boy in White
specifically to get the attention of the people, because the jukebox is a friend. The jukebox has nothing to do with the people that are keeping them there. If you're gonna go that route, then you're gonna have to say that the worms, and if they're reacting to the jukebox, then the worms in Boyd's arm are friends too.
Right.
Because the jukebox is a friend. And Lady A says it right here.
Welcome to my side, Tony. Welcome to the worms being friends.
I didn't think they
were.
You
Uncharacteristic. We switched roles on that one. You walked the fence. You didn't declare for either side on that one. You said I'm side waiting to see. So I'll be fair.
I thought possibly the worms could turn him into a monster. It could be a situation like that.
You were saying either or to give.
Yeah, it was either or, but I didn't lock it down, so I did not say we're friends. I didn't think that's on you. And Lady A says, yes, the old lady had cancer. Who told you that this lady probably had a disease and she was out here trying to live her best life? Tony Teflon told you.
And you were right, but she was still sketchy in that scene. I'm not.
She is sketchy. I'm not saying
you and I agree. Like we were saying this from the beginning. We were on like, it's interesting that either she's like the Hurley of town now, and if people, or maybe she's the Rose that had a disease and got cured from the place, but in the sense that she's the busybody that's spreading all the gossip around town, and that's just her role, like that's just what she is. Or it's very interesting that she's the facilitator, Tony, of a lot of disaster in this episode, even to the point of the morphine that gets taken at the end of the episode by Chrissy's girlfriend, by Mary Ellen. She takes that morphine. Not that she wouldn't have taken the other drugs, but it specifically was that morphine that got put there. What set Christy out of the room was her mentioning that Sarah was back. Oh, that horrible Sarah person's back. So either they're just conveniently putting her in a lot of transitional situations, or she's actively a troll and is the Joker and likes watching it all burn a little bit, or she's like Carmine Jr. On Sopranos, where everything's going good between Phil and Tony, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, and that thing about your brother, whatever's going on there." Like, she can't help but say the worst thing in the worst moment, Tony.
We got a nice super chat here from Brienne's Fat Sister. Thank you so much for the super chat. We don't get them all the time, so it's very good. I just say, Tony, you are an absolute treasure. Let's say that again.
Aww.
Tony,
do you have to read any more of the super chat after that? You
I
know,
really don't have to, but we're gonna go because she put it there and she paid to see it. So let's go right now. Tony, you're an absolute treasure. At first, I was a little skeptical about the alien plot, but I'm starting to be won over. When Jid said experiments going all the way back to World War II, I lost my. No, who told you this was a whole Nazi situation with the twins and everything else? I told you all about that. I told you all about that. It's a Don Tony
Tony, take the victory lap, Tony. Take it. We're
Thank you so
punish.
much for the super chat. Love you, Brianne's Fest.
We're gonna punish Tony with that chip if he's wrong on that one. I gotta eat shit when the bartender didn't end up being a freaking mole when he got crushed. He was the only mole he was doing was a literal mole in the ground after getting killed by those monsters.
Let's make sure we highlight this concept because Ted says, excuse me, where's the Phil love? He's a handsome fella, always showing up with the drip for our guests. Yes, there's no doubt that Phil. You saying Phil's a handsome fellow, that doesn't mean I'm not, right?
Yeah. No. I think that was more of an additional, like let's add some jimmies to this already delicious Sunday. This is our show. I appreciate that.
No, listen, we're a tandem. Being the Don Tony Teflon and Phil Issues guy. This is what it is. You know what I mean? We're a tandem here. We're a team.
Yeah, team.
That's the way it goes.
We're like Hulk and Macho Man here, you know? Like
that's
Mega Powers. You'll be Macho because you got Elizabeth. You know?
I gotta be Macho.
Even though realistically you would be bigger, you would be Hogan in that situation because with the 24-inch pythons and all that stuff. But in this situation, I'll give you Elizabeth. I'll give you this Elizabeth.
Thank you so much for that, Phil, because the Macho Man Randy Savage is all about this. And I'll slap into a Slim Jim and all that good stuff.
It's okay, the 24-inch pythons are gonna be all on your side. Teflon, oh yeah.
Okay. So enough of that. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so anyway, so Randall is basically doing his professional wrestling shout out and shouting out like a heel at the bad guys and being like, "I'll get you guys." Thank you, Carl. I think they figured out Randall's really scared about being. Anyways, we hear Tony. What was the scream in between the moment when the creatures are walking off and we flash over to the Jade scene? Was it just like a transitional audio scream and not really from anything?
Yeah, no, it was the monsters. They do that. They let that scream.
Oh, okay. So it was just sort of a scream.
That was them. When they turned away from him, that's when they started screaming. Again, they used to scream. It was said specifically that they used to scream a lot before, and then they got away from it. And I think they got away from it because it did not scare people anymore. And this is a whole fear-based situation and all that. Thank you, John Henderson, for the super chat. He says, let's vote that if alien subscribers eat hot chip challenge for Tony. What is it? Let's vote that if it's alien subscribers, if it's aliens subscribers eat the hot chip. I don't need that. I mean, y'all don't have to. I put that out there on myself. And I told you and everything. If y'all want to do it, y'all can do it. But I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not going to hold you to it at all. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate it and everything. It will be. Because I know I don't want y'all eat. Look at Shorty want what? See, my girl, Shorty. My girl, Shorty, right? You know what I mean? My baby girl right here. She always on me. You know what I mean?
No.
She always disagreeing, but she quick to say,
Tony,
nah.
You think she's on you? You should hear her with Joe. I love it. I love it.
She know it. She know what it is. She know it's coming true.
She's one of the best callers. I love her keeping people honest in the live chat. Okay, so then we go over to Jade, who's in bed drinking. It looks like me and Vegas in the middle of at the end of a binge. I'm like laying in bed with 5 bottles. I'm like, where's the next bottle, Tony? So he opens up the book, he looks at the picture again, and it blurs out. This was one of our first horror moments, scary psychological moments we've had in a while. That really kind of got me. It blurs out, and we see the man from the picture standing up in real life with a scary smile on his face, holding the book with the symbol, and it starts to trip out. And Jade looks legit scared. It gets really intense, and then it disappears. He gets up and he runs in the the other room, and if we're making a power ranking on who curses the best on the show, Harold number 1, Jade number 2. He's just like, God, motherfucker, fuck, God, and screams. I don't want to hurt my voice and do it. It's just a really good scream, and and that's our cold open, and a really good scene with Jade that sets up the Jade for the episode. We'll talk.
It does, and it also sets up the Jade going crazy situation and losing his mind because of this whole situation in there, and we talked about this before. I told you that when I picked up on it was Ethan. Once Ethan said what he said, that was it. I don't need to hear no more. You got to pay attention to that little kid speaks. And look, when we had Elizabeth on here right now, the statement she wrote down was from Ethan.
Yep,
that's the statement that she put in there. Right, she didn't just do that for a minute. And I know some people have just got here. Yes, we did have Elizabeth's boy on, and then when you go back and watch, you'll be able to see her earlier on. She rocked with us for an hour and stuff like that.
100%. She even stayed longer than she initially wanted to.
Because she's having such a good time with y'all.
Yep.
She even stayed longer to rock with us in there. And listen, she talked a little bit about that tea and some mushrooms.
A little bit. She and even before the show, we had a little tea talk. Tony, Anna has a question in the live chat I want to talk about a little bit before we get back to this recap, because my answer to this leads into one of your theories. Can we talk about why the trees are changing? I think the place is getting prepared for the flood. Like that changing into a different form of the place that sends in the next level of this game, or whatever you want to say, which includes a flood of some kind. So I think the trees are changing, and Victor's noticing it as the place is getting set up for a natural disaster. What do you think, Tony? Am I right?
Yeah, it's changing because they're going to kill everybody. That's it. So Victor's like, I've never seen this before and everything else. They're going to kill everyone. They're going to flood the whole town and wipe the board clean. Because people are getting too close, and that's what they're going to do, and that's why the trees are changing. They haven't done this before. That's why Victor has. And I think they've done, in my opinion, they've done all this before. This is what they do. Again, you got to look at the little things. When they were inside of that cave, Tabitha specifically says, "Where is this water coming from? Not where's the water leading to." It did help them find their way out. But that was just to show you where the flow of water actually is going. But what she said was, where is this water coming from? And I'm telling you, there's pipes and everything else underneath that thing, and they're going to shoot the water up there. If you look at every one of these little creatures, kids, or anything else that Tabitha is seeing, they all look like they've been drowned. If you look at their skin color, you look at everything, they look like they've all been drowned. You've seen the one inside the cage and everything else. They probably put them kids up in them cages and drown those motherfuckers out and kill them all like that. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. The trees are changing because they're going to drown everybody.
It's turning into Thunderdome. So our intro comes up. We get Boyd woken up by, okay, Tony, I'm sorry to keep stopping here with the recap, but I have to say it because I know this knock. Tabitha gave it's an angry knock, yes, but it was a cop knock. It was like a bang, 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 bang. What's going on in there? I've heard that. I've been smoking in the room, and I've heard that knock. I got the cop knock many times, and that was a freaking cop knock. And I woke up from a passed out state to that knock too many times to count, Tony. When I was younger, I wasn't always, in the words of Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop 2, I fractured an occasional law as a child, and I recognized that knock very well. Anyways, so it's the cop knock. Sarah comes upstairs. She's like, what do I do? Again, very familiar to my real life situation. Someone comes like, what do we do, Phil? I don't know. Flush it down the toilet was usually the answer in this situation, but not in this situation. So they open the door, and it's Tabitha and Jim looking for her. Tabitha is pissed. Jim is not as pissed, but still doing the backup thing. Like, yeah. Boyd says, you don't get it. Tabitha is livid. She says, she says, what? She hears, it's a great line by Tabitha. What? She hears voices? She's special? I don't give a fuck. Kenny told us. She fucking murdered.
Kenny just told the whole shit. Big mouth Kenny.
Yeah, you just told everybody.
He's a big blabbermouth, that motherfucker Kenny. Big blabbermouth. Oh, he went over there and said, he went back to that. And listen, you know what's the important thing? Because when we had the actress who plays, who we didn't see her this episode, Julie, when we had her on here, right? When she said that, how many conversations are these characters having that aren't on screen? And she said that she thought that a lot of characters were having conversations that we want to see off screen.
Off camera, yeah.
And this proves that she was right because we didn't see him have that conversation with Kenny, but we see how Kenny told us everything. That blab about, yeah, Kenny went there and said, I can't believe it. Boyd's keeping her alive because she's having visions and she's seeing things.
You know, it's like a whiny little motherfucker. Now,
that's exactly how Kenny said.
Now,
and then Tabitha went straight Asian.
She went crazy.
Latina. She went straight Latino. I've seen mad Latinas. Believe you me, I've dated many of them, and I know that Latina fire.
Tony,
and that is exactly what came right out right there.
A lot of people in the chat are asking this question, and I was going to save it for later, but let's get into this right now since you brought up Kenny. You talked a little bit about this in the video, and at times, Kenny giving up on Boyd, not wanting to watch a 6, turning in the badge. There's one thing Kenny missed doing here. When you give up on being on the force, you turn in your badge, and what else do you turn in, Tony?
You turn in that goddamn gun.
Thank you. Why does Kenny still have his goddamn gun, Tony?
He said you can take the badge, but you ain't taking my piece.
That's a funny coincidence, isn't it? That's weird. I keep the badge just for prosperity and have to give up the gun if I was Boyd. I don't know about you, Tony, but when you stop being a cop, you give up the badge and the gun.
Yeah. When he was like, I ain't giving up this gun.
Nope.
That stayed exactly what it was. Nope. Who said that? This motherfucker, Vince Harper, said I sound like Vinnie Barbary.
I know.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Mr. Carter. Come on.
Carter. Yeah, that's hilarious. That was funny. That was good.
That's good. Vince Harper's the best. I love Vince. He's good people.
No doubt about it. But yeah, listen, he wasn't trying to give up the strap. He was real to give up the badge, but he's like, the strap is staying with him.
Dude, he was no way he was giving that.
But Randall had to give up his gun. And this comes down to
why is Kenny keeping it? Why is Kenny allowed to keep it?
This is why there's two types of laws there. And this is why I'm thinking that Boyd may lose his position because you can't have two types of laws. It's got to be one across the board for everybody.
Yeah, I think you might be on to something in the sense of that people may start to follow Randall if he's able to, as we'll get into at the end, more setting his trap or doing whatever the hell he's doing, putting the thing up on a roof, wants to test some stuff out. If he's able to get some headway a little further than Jim was in season 1, that could create a power struggle. But I do think eventually Randall is not going to end up in a good place. I think he may turn people for a while and then get some people killed. Anyways, we'll get to that later and talk more about that on a theory stream. But okay, so Boyd's being woken up by the cop knock, yada, yada, yada. She yells at him. We already went through all that. Boyd tries to fight it, and Tabitha and Jim don't want to hear it. He says, they say, they're my rule, or you broke your rules, and looks at and he says to Jim, well, someone built a tower, gave people hope, and now everyone's looking to me for answers, and there's a busload of people we can't feed. He did his Boyd thing where he just like kind of yells and screams, his wormed Boyd thing where he's just like, no one's going in the box, period. No one's going in that goddamn box. I will bust someone out of the box. I was on Oz. No one's going back to the hole. No one's going back to the damn hole. And Wolf Spare, he's not letting it happen. They'll have to throw him in the box. Sarah comes in and Tabitha says, as Tony was talking about in his video, says the mafia thing to her. Like, if you go near my family again, I'm going to kill you. No. Say it. Tell me what you said. And you're right, Tony. When someone says that, that's how you know they mean business. That's the Mafia Don thing. No, I want you to repeat it so you make sure you know what I'm saying is true.
Yeah, once you say that, listen, you understand what I'm saying, right? They ain't gonna be able to come and say, well, I really didn't understand that you meant going around them in this way. I didn't think you now we have a direct, you understand what I'm telling you. And I'm trying to tell you that this is what's going to happen to you. Yep. And she's not playing when she says this to her. Like, yo, I'm going to kill you. It wasn't Jim who said that. And it just seemed like, it was the women that were getting that Sarah. Because later on, we see the people who took her house over. It wasn't the guy who was saying something. It was the guy's girl.
Yeah, he's like, oh, shucks, that's my jacket, honey. She's taking my jacket.
And she was like, nah, Shorty, give me that. Because someone, I don't understand if someone real like they you know, she killed her brother. That's what they claim and everything else, and she did. They don't seem to be afraid of someone who killed her. You know what I mean?
No.
Like
No.
they ain't afraid of you. Like usually you hear someone kill somebody, you afraid of them. They ain't afraid of Sarah's ass at all.
Jim especially picks up on that later in the episode, and we'll get into that again. So we get into one of the better scenes of the episode. There's a lot of good scenes, but we go Boyd's going to go to Colony House and talk to Donna. Oh yeah, and then Sarah says, "I'm not strong enough," and he basically just says, "I don't care, toughen up." It's a great moment by Boyd. It's like that's not my problem. My problem is that it'd be like me going to Tony before the show. Oh, Tony, I've had a bad day. I'm doing all this, do that. That's not my problem. Like where we got an interview at 10 o'clock. Get your ass over here. Like do it. I that's not my problem. Like get toughen up, Buttercup. But he tells her to stay inside. And what does she do, Tony? She immediately goes outside.
Yeah, right when if he's telling you chill right here, you already know Kenny done ran his goddamn mouth to everybody. You know what I mean? And told people where you were at and everything else, Stay your ass inside.
Yeah,
stay your ass inside. But I mean, that porcelain thing must have meant that much to her that she really needed to get her hands on it.
And I think at core, Sarah's a good person and she feels really bad and feels really responsible for what's going on here. So she wants to pay a penance and she feels like she's going on the apology tour here to a certain extent, which gets pretty sad. So let's get into this a little bit more. Julie is trying to get Ethan, who's locked in his room because he found out this is one of those conversations that happened off screen, as you were mentioning in the video. Dad uses this as an opportunity to say some quest talk. Ethan opens up and he wants to see Sarah and face the issues. So we go off to Christy and Mary Ellen having some food, eating some chip crackers that Kenny's mom made that sound freaking delicious. And they have a moment and Mari got her a surprise, an old t-shirt, and they connect a little bit and it's all good for now. So we go off to Sarah, who is inside the house waiting around, stalking a house, heading into a house. And it's the brother's house. We just talked about this scene, Tony. She finds the brother's flannel and she thinks, and it smells like him. It smells like petroleum weed. It smells like Colony House. And we just basically talked about this scene.
Well, I think that a lot of fans have put in my comment section what happened to Sarah's house. Who's living in Sarah's house? They brought that up, so they answered this question.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot of people have given the show a little rap saying they ain't answering questions, but if you look at it, they are. They may not be doing it in the order that you want them to do it in, but all these little things, they didn't have to do that Sarah's house scene. They could have left that whole scene out of the show. It truly didn't affect the plot in any way. But I think they knew that people were going to ask, how come no one moved up in Sarah's house? What's going on there? Why is she hiding out in the basement? How come she just didn't go in the house and just hang out? So I think that they did it for those reasons and stuff. So I do think that you're going to get all the answers that y'all want. You just got to give them time to give them to you.
And yes, he wants the okay. So then we go to Jade, who's making the symbol from the books with empty bottles in the bar. He's drinking every last bit of booze.
Everything.
He's out of the rolling papers. He's gone to the booze. Victor shows up, and we have one of the most interesting combinations of the episode. And he's like, "Dude, you look bad." I love the brutal, childish honesty of Victor. Scott plays it so well. He's because again, having talked to Scott, some of the characters that we've talked to, we're lucky enough. Because it's not, I mean, Tony's doing the work, but we're lucky enough to talk to some of these actors, and some of them come across similar to their characters in some ways. You could see them playing where themselves are in their character. That's not the case with Scott. Victor is not like Scott at all. He's completely somebody else in this character, and like just a child. And watching him interact in this episode was a good episode for him. Jade is trying to figure the symbol out. He's like, you won't fucking help me. Fuck you. You suck. You suck. When Victor asks for his help, and this is Jade's thing, Tony. It's like you ask me for help. Phil, you help me. Fuck you, Tony. Eat shit, you piece of shit. I don't want to fucking help you. You suck. Okay, I'll help you.
No, Jade's a child. And I said it, you know what I mean? He's a child. He's a big kid. That's what Jade is. You see him when he rides the bicycle. He looks like a kid. He's just a big kid, and that's just what it is, and that's why him and Victor get along,
Yeah, it was
and
great.
and because they're all little children inside. You know what I mean?
Cody,
That's it.
a little bit later, they have a total little kid moment. I put it on the notes, but I just mentioned it now. When they finally get there, and it's like, tell me what you know, and I'll play. No, play and I'll tell me what you know. Like I feel like I've had that argument when I was 6 with my friends.
Yeah. You do it first, and I'll do it. No, you go
No,
first.
you
Nope,
go
you do
first,
it.
Tony. You go first. You go first, man. You jump off first. You jump into the quarry first. No, if you do it, I'll do it. Let's do it together. Okay, so Jade's trying to help him. So blah 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 blah. He's okay. He says, "Here, I want you to play the violin," and he says, "Come with me." So Tabitha and Jim are talking about Ethan wanting to see Sarah. Jim is like, "Let him do it," and Jim being super pragmatic in this episode all the way through. This is a great Tabitha episode. This is probably one of her best episodes.
Yeah, it
So
is.
we'll get to her big scene at the end. But and also this scene right there, they could have very much played this one-sided and had Tabitha just be completely irrational all the way through. But she ultimately understands this when Ethan's like, you got to face scary stuff, mom. In the quest, you got to take away the power. When Tabitha's like, bitch tried to kill my kid, I'm going to fucking cut her. Like, it all makes sense. And then hearing Ethan say that and realizing that Ethan is a little special and that she kind of understands that. And Jim just being like, listen, Tabitha, like he handled it perfect too. I just think I'm the one that should handle this. Like this makes more sense. I'm going to be there. But don't you think I'm the one that doesn't want to kill her should be the one that handles this?
Yeah. Tabitha's ready to put the Vaseline on her face,
Yeah.
pull her hair back, and go
Yeah.
ape shit on her.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna. It's good. Just like that other chick was about to do it inside the house, where she snatched away the flannel. You know what I mean? You gotta watch that. Tabitha's she's too feisty in this moment. She's too much. I'm gonna get.
She's too hot. She's too
That's
hot.
it.
I mean, it's situations like that. If I'm in that situation and I'm in a situation where I hate someone and I'm all rage filled and stuff like that, even as a friend, fuck, like your husband or something like that, like a friend, sometimes you need to be like, dude, you can't take this shot right now, or this is my shot. I got to do this. You're too hyped up for the technical. You're too crazed to do that.
Yeah, but TJ says, sorry I missed most of the From podcast. I was with my lady for 2 hours. Unlike Kenny, this Asian gets lucky. The girl passed right up. All right, now listen, TJ.
TJ.
We're gonna call bluff on the 2 hour part. All right.
TJ. Let our callers are rock stars, Tony. Let's
I damn 2 hours. Fuck you. No.
I'm gonna put my money on that. TJ did it. Good job, TJ.
Listen, no, I'm not giving. I give him 45.
TJ's got bloodworms. TJ's got the
TJ
blood.
Get 45 minutes, bro. I'm giving you 45.
Tony, he's got bloodworms in his arm.
45 minutes.
Okay, so maybe, maybe he's doing the blue chews. He's
right there.
Okay, that was him. Okay, so Ethan wants to see Sarah, and Jim's like, okay, let's make it happen. And Ethan has that thing where we mentioned this a couple times tonight. Scary stuff in the quest. This is how you take the power. Let me do this. So we go off to, I mentioned this a second ago, wanting to say the scene, but probably the best scene in the episode with Donna and Boyd. The two, a lot of great actors on the show, probably the two best working on the show in this scene, or two of the best. And it's just a great scene. And Boyd, and I love how people like, this is what happens when people talk, Tony. When you bring the logic into it, he's explaining this stuff to Donna. What I'm saying? Like she sees things, she hears people, because Kenny already told Donna. Kenny told everybody. And Donna's like, yeah, but unless I see a yellow brick road that's leading us up, what's it goddamn matter? She killed 4 people, Boyd. And you're breaking your own rules, and this destroys your credibility in the people. And then she susses out that he doesn't really even give a shit what she wants. He's doing that age-old thing where he's asking her for something because he just wants backup for his own point. And then she just brings up, well, you've talked to Kenny's mom, and he's like, oh yeah, she's my next stop.
No, Donna gets in his ass, bro.
Dude,
in this episode.
In acting, I mean this in a not a who's better, who's worse, but in a scene, Tony, you like it's a winner and a loser,
Mhm.
and Donna won this scene. Donna,
Oh, no doubt
Donna
about it.
beat Boyd down here bad.
There's no doubt about it. She put it on his ass in this scene without a shadow of a doubt.
She brings up
And you don't
Abby.
see that happen very often with Harold. You know,
And
you don't really see that happen. But in this scene,
no, she did.
she shut him down.
And Tony, I have a question for you. That's not a theory I have, but something I guess I'm working with a little bit. It's not new, but Donna brings up everything about Abby.
Yep.
Says in a very passionate, truthful way, Abby, you're doing all of this because you didn't do enough to save her. You want to make up for it, blah blah blah, whatever she says there, right? It seems like she's talking about herself, right? Does she feel the same way about the person she lost? Because it seemed like she was speaking more from experience than giving him advice. Like, I know it. I know how you feel because I feel the same way. I lost somebody here too. Did she lose somebody the similar way that he lost Abby before he got there, or at some point that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah. So when she lost her sister was more like Randall, the way
Okay.
she explained it. Like her sister was like they were going on a hunting trip. Her sister got out the car and went to confront these motherfucking monsters, and then wound up getting
Okay,
torn
so
to pieces.
it's similar in a way that Donna wishes that she could have, because there was some truth in the way she was saying that wasn't just like, I'm giving you advice, Boyd. I'm speaking from experience here. That I
Yeah.
know you're doing this because of Abby, because I'm doing the same thing with everyone at Colony House.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was it. But I think if you got to tell, like, she's like, listen, you talk to Taipan, you tell her what's going on. Like, boy, that should have been your first shit.
Yeah, why are you here? She
Yeah,
gave
you
totally.
don't be talking to me because he just wanted Donna support. Like he's looking, politically, he's looking like, all right, if I get Donna on my side, then they can't oust me.
Tony.
But if I ain't got her, now I lost that, I lost this. This is why I'm thinking it could roll downhill for Boyd.
It could.
If he doesn't get this shit under control.
Tony, no, you could not be more true, be more right about politically trying to get Donna. I think it's the same thing at the end with even the way the music kicks in and his discussion with Kenny's mom is very similar. He's trying to get her on his side so he can almost politically to the town bring that, well, if she's okay with Sarah being alive, everyone needs to in some way. Okay, so Donna's basically like, yeah, why haven't you talked to Kenny's mom? That should have been your first stop. So we go off to Sarah in town, and she's watching Ethan and Jim come up to her, and Ethan says to her basically, you were out at night. I'm paraphrasing to a certain extent. I didn't get all of this. You were out at night, but everything in the woods, the only thing that survives at night in the woods are monsters. You're a monster, and I thought you were my friend. You're not my friend, and I'm not afraid of you. And she's like, okay, she does look really hurt, but I think this is another thing you said you were talking about. And I want to piggyback on that. For my perspective, is the sense I feel like some part of Sarah was also proud of Ethan standing up for himself because she likes him. And when he gave that, she kind of gave a, I'm hurt, but I respect you, little guy. And that's why she tries smiling at him later in the episode, and he gives her the stare that most girls in high school gave me when I waved to them, like, hi. No.
Be looking at me, girl.
Don't smile at me, motherfucker.
He doesn't hate her. He doesn't. He doesn't hate her.
He's similar to Jim, I think, because this is where Jim starts to realize that she's more pathetic sorry, that she doesn't really have agency for what she did. And I think Ethan is smarter than that. He's just young and he's overrun by the emotion of it. I think Ethan is going to forgive Sarah before this is over. I think if no one else does, Ethan definitely will. At least that's my perspective. I think he's going to.
You could see this coming a mile away. That Sarah is definitely either going to sacrifice herself to save people's lives. You know what I mean? Or say I'm predicting right now. That there's going to be a major flood that's going to happen in this situation. Whether she sacrifices herself to save people's lives, or it's going to turn around where she is the reason why they all get out of there. You know what I
Spoiler
mean?
alert, she's gonna be the Charlie, maybe. Okay. So anyway, she goes off to town. Jim legit looks conflicted here. He looks curious what she knows and looks at her as a broken person, not as a killer. So go off to Victor leading Jade. Here comes some of the more interesting stuff in the episode, as in like giving us more information about what's going on, Tony. We go off to Victor leading Jade and commenting about the trees changing, and we find the car junkyard and Jade yelling at Victor, and he's like, I'll play the violin for you, but I can't follow you around all day. And I love how Victor turns to him and goes, dude, you're strange. It's just like when Victor's calling you strange, it's just an interesting situation.
Yeah, like there's something going on.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
great.
it's really a different level there, dude. And so Victor says sorry for yelling. He's sorry about everything. He brings him to a station wagon. He says, "This is where you play." He asks him to play the Twinkle song, like "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and and Jade. He says Jade's susses out that it was the mother's car. She played the instrument when he was afraid. We get more backstory about his mom, and Jade plays "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star."
Now listen, people.
I was gonna try to play Twinkle Twinkle.
Keep going with it. Go ahead.
I can't do it.
You can do it. We know you can.
No, not right now.
All right.
I was gonna try to pull it out, Tony.
I done told y'all, people, the Don Tony Teflon. I'm still with my hands on my chest. I'm talking about me. I done told y'all from the beginning, this has got to do with aliens. You think they just picked Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for no reason? You think they could have picked any song that they wanted to pick up in there and everything? Phil the Magic Dragon.
Yeah, no, I don't know where that came from, Tony. I don't know. I'm breathing fire because I'm so excited by your Twinkle Twinkle Little Star theory. And isn't the name of the motel also it's like Astro Motel?
Yeah, it's like Starlight or something like that.
Something like that.
Written down. They think they would just. I give you all these clues and I've told you to jump. They didn't just pick Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. This is aliens. It's got to do with aliens, and that's what's going on here. Yeah. That is what the way it's going down.
Star Magic Hotel.
The most important thing, though, that you have to really understand about this scene is that Victor said he drove all those cars over there. But then he said it really quick. He said, but not the ones in the front.
Right.
They were already here before I got here.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, they have done this before because the alternate universe Victor, all these people have been there before. Victor is the one who drove those cars to the front. Just not this Victor. An alternate universe Victor is the one who drove those cars over there. And I'm trying to tell you that they're gonna wipe the board clean and they kill them and they bring the same people back in here every time and they perform the same exact things with just a little bit of tweaking until they get it done. This is what it is, people. This is what's going on. Don't think that's not the case. I'm trying to tell you, there's no doubt about it. It's not purgatory. I see that comment. They shut that down in season 1. They had the whole conversation with Father Kadri. They had Tabitha ask her, did we survive the crash? You know what I mean? And Father Kadri said, I let me just say that I've had enough time to practice my answer for this question. Meaning that they're not the first people to ask that question. This has been asked over and over again. And it's got nothing to do with that. They said it a long time ago. Thank you for the super chat. Who says how do you say this name, Phil?
Renata C.
Cantino.
Canio.
Renata, I love your thinking, Tony. Thank you so much for thinking it. For loving things.
We appreciate it so damn much. So we get the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star solo and the great visual close-up of Victor, amazing nonverbal acting with him on the car, remembering back to his mother and the way that felt, more very excellent violin playing. And thank you, Coco. I appreciate that. So we go off to Elgin meeting Sarah in church. Elgin, who's really trying hard to get a date in town. He's not stupid. And in fairness, I'm joking, but Sarah is really nice, and Sarah's been there for a couple months. They connect. Elgin's probing who she is and flirts a bit with her. Sarah says, were you on the bus? Elgin was on the bus to see his Nana. We get a story about how she crochets owls and stuff like that. And it's just a fun scene. I like Elgin, and I like the actor that plays him. He has a lot of charm and earnestness. I could see this kid in like a romantic comedy too. He just has like a real like nice warmth about him, and seeing him talk to Sarah was almost like, again, Tony, like I felt like for a moment I was watching like a romantic comedy where they were like going back and forth. They had excellent chemistry, and he had chemistry with Hannah last week.
Yeah,
too.
I think he's channeling the Don Tony Teflon. I think somehow he has watched my videos and he said, "Let me play this like the Don would play this is up in there because this is the way I'd be up in this piece." Like, Joey, what's good with you, girl? It's people got come here, girl. Someone got problems with you? Just walk with me. I got you. You ain't gotta be scared no more. You ain't gotta be scared no more. You rocking with the Don, baby. You ain't gotta be scared no more. Ain't no one can hurt you no more. I got you. Don't worry about it and everything else. Because I know we talked about it a little bit, with the act with Hannah, and she said that when she played the role with him, she was definitely flirting on him. I think that the character is too young to be.
Yeah, that's not real. I think in the sense they were just playing that maybe Hannah, the actors played that to add a little bit of like energy to that scene. I think this scene right here, there was legitimate intentional flirting by Elgin towards Sarah, and there was a moment in the scene where Sarah started to realize what was going on. And she started flirting back. She's like, "Oh, you're so nice. You don't know me yet." But it was this uncomfortable moment, Tony. And I like to say this kind of shit, but it's true. We've all been in this moment. You meet somebody that's going to know people that know you and know stories about you. And you're like, for this one moment, you don't know anything else about me, but you're going to hear some stories soon. You're going to hear who I really.
It's like Eddie Murphy. Oh, that's a bone that fell out my mouth.
Exactly. There's a bunch of skeletons about to cough out of my throat right now. Sarah's like, "Oh, excuse me, I killed my brother." In fairness, Sarah reached down her own throat. Sorry, everybody, and pulled out the own skeleton in her closet and told him. She's like, "This is going really good," and it's like at the first date, she's like, "This is going really good, and I really like you, but just so you know, I killed my brother." "Oh, what do you mean? It was an accident or something?" No, I murdered him. You're gonna hear about it around town.
Yeah, listen, I think people accept that more than herpes.
Yeah, Tony, he had a legitimate think about it moment, and he decided when he saw Kitty attacking her in town, he's like, "Okay, I can deal. Close enough for me. I'm going in."
I can handle Kenny.
I can handle this.
I can handle this guy. Gold Soul, thank you for Super Day. Says, "What up, guys? I binged the whole show in 3 days because I seen you covering it. Great series, and I'm glad to be caught up and join you guys week to week. Thank you so much for rocking with us. We truly appreciate it, man. And we hope we put on a lot of people to this show because it's a great show. And not only is it a great show, truthfully, these actors who play in this show are great people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've met a bunch of them that have come on the channel, and they're just a bunch of great people. And just wish them success. And how we can give them success is that we watch the show and everything else. So,
Yeah,
and look, we just had Liz on. She had a regular job just like every one of us before this happened. You know what I mean? The actress who plays the nurse was a nurse. You know what I mean? In real life till she got the call. You know what I mean? This isn't big. Harold's the biggest guy on the show. You know what I mean? He's been in a million things as deserving to be on there. A lot of these other people, this is their shot. This is their breakout role. This is their chance to actually make it in this business that they put so much into. So we got to support people like that. You know what I mean? We need to. What up to Mika up in the building?
Thank
Great
you,
call
Mika.
and everything else. And support the channel with a thumbs up and a subscription to the channel. You know, we up here, we putting people on here. We doing the best for y'all. This is the #1 show for the fans by the fans.
So we get a little talk about the trinket, the Christmas tree shop thing, and she really needs it, and it's really sweet. And she blurts out that she killed her brother, and he asks some questions, and he kind of gets a reverse beep, 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 beep kind of moment, but he's assessing the situation as he gets out of there. So we go home to Tabitha and Jim and Ethan, and they're all proud of Ethan as he goes to peel potatoes with Julie. And Jim and Tabitha have the talk, and she sees the Jenga talk about the situation and how good Ethan did. And she sees the Jenga thing, and dark music plays. So we go off to Kenny's mom and Sarah. We kind of talked about this scene with the actor, so we don't have to talk too much about this. But Sarah is about going to leave. She shows her face and she says, "You've taken away from me. I taken care of you, and you put hate inside me. I know why you came." She goes in back, gets the box, takes it, and goes in there, and she goes out. Great thing. We broke this down with the actress tonight. No need to go too far into that. So we go off to this next scene, the hints of Kenny breaking bad. There are also hints of Kenny possibly coming back. I'll mention this at the end. We go off to a pissed Kenny as Sarah is coming out there and being like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He grabs the box, he dumps her shit, grabs the thing, goes, "Is this important to you? Is this important to you?" Like Johnny with Daniel's son. And I know she killed his father, but whatever. And smashes it. And he's like, look at me. I don't give a fuck how special Boyd thinks you are. Again, if I see you again, if I see you near my family again, I'm gonna drag you in that goddamn box myself. And we look around, and especially Elgin is looking like, "What the fuck, Kenny?" And everyone in town, I don't know if these are all the bus people, but they're all giving Kenny that look like, "Dude, that's like too much." Dude, that's too much. And Kenny has a moment, Tony, where he feels like, I don't know if how you interpreted that moment. If it's, did I go too far, or shit, people are watching me? I don't know. I know you think.
Well, listen, Kenny got his big boy pants on.
and in his big, and we said this earlier, in his big boy pants, he has a fucking gun.
And he's got his gun there. He's got his big boy pants, so he's not rocking the high waters no more.
Not.
And now he's doing the Breaking Bad. But no matter what, even when you're trying to do things for the right reasons, you're doing it to a very slender woman, right? So it's always going to come off like you're a fucking bully. And that's what it did. You're going to smash a girl's thing to the floor. Really? You're going to break that big man? Did that make you feel good at that time, big man? You know what I mean? So even if he's trying to say he's trying to do it for Rico, he's hurt and everything else, it's a bad look.
Yeah, it's a real bad look.
It's a bad look to all these people that you're supposed to be next boy. You're supposed to be the guy who takes over, but you're too emotionally caught up in this situation. And that is a bad look. You over here, how can somebody trust you? You know what I mean? And everything else. So it's a bad look. You can't do that stuff in front of everybody. If you're gonna do that stuff, you gotta do that shit behind the scenes.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not encouraged to do it, but if you're gonna do it in that situation, you got to do it privately. Right there, it makes Sarah, it just victimizes her in that moment and makes her more appealing, especially to new people that weren't there at that time. So our next scene is the Mari and Chrissy haircut scene. They have a moment, give their haircut, good moment. And then who pops in, but everyone's favorite neutral suspect, Tilly. Tilly walks in. "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt this heartfelt moment, but I'm here to drop some bombs. First of all, Tony, here's my liquid morphine. Hi, I'm Tilly, and I'm here to get some morphine. And I was diagnosed months ago." She doesn't actually say what she was diagnosed upon. I'm not saying she's lying here, but there was a little bit of subterfuge in her answering these questions, but it could make sense. The doctors gave me this when I'm going to be sick enough. I don't know if I'm going to need it. And I watched this episode twice, Tony, because I know some people got on the drug addict thing with Mary Ellen early. I knew something was up with her. I didn't call drug addict. But watching the episode a second time, once Tilly says liquid morphine, you totally see Mari go, like Snoop Dogg in Half Baked when someone's smoking around, like the smoke that just pops up, the pop-up smoker. It's like, hey, what's going on over here, guys? What's up? It was totally that moment where she sort of like like morphine. Wait, did someone say morphine? If you watch it again, if people watching the second time, watch Mari in the scene. Great off-camera acting and foreshadowing in that scene of her perking up once the drugs come out. And then we get into this side story about Chrissy blaming herself because Tilly mentions that Sarah's back. Oopsie Lou, what did I say? My horrifying shit ruined your good day. And then Tilly walks off, ruining everyone's good day. And Chrissy blames herself, and Mari calms her down. So we go off.
Wait, we got to talk a little bit about Chrissy real quick. Number one, she got a haircut. All right, new haircut. I don't know if I'm feeling it that much. I think it's I'm not feeling. Listen, the flash dance situation with the shirt, the Don was about that life. You know what I mean? About that life, 100%.
You're gonna get to talk to her about that next week, right?
We are gonna get to talk to her about. Is she next week or the week after?
I'm not sure.
She's either next week or the week after. She's coming on. She's either be here next week or she'll be here the week after. But
yeah, I know one week we might have a week off. Next week might be the week off. Where it's
I think there's a week in between. We don't have anybody.
Yeah, I think that might be next week. Which is good because episode 6 is supposed to be the big one, so it might be good for you and I to obviously if we have a guest, that's amazing. But if it's just you and I after episode 6, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling the haircut that much. I mean, I'm not a bangs man like that. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you that the flash dance shirt I was feeling that was a great. If you already seen that movie Flashdance and you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to check it out. But I had that poster on my wall when I was a child. You know what I mean? That's one of the first posters I ever had was that Flashdance poster. And it was giving me those Flashdance vibes, 100%.
And Sonic, Tony and I will be out here next Sunday. We just one of these weeks because of the change with Scott. You know, we had Scott on a Friday. We do have 1 week where we won't have a guest, and it will just be Tony and I rocking. So Vic, we get to the Vic and we'll get back to Mari and Chrissy in a moment here. Vic tells Jade, dude in the picture was named Christopher. Tony, here's some info here.
Yeah.
Christopher, he leads him to Christopher's car. Victor said people liked him. They laughed at him at first, which was hard back then. Victor freaks out, says, we need to leave here. Victor says, you should not be asking all these questions. Jade keeps probing. Jade is like, dude, I'm losing my shit with this symbol. You have to tell me what happened with this dude. When did he start seeing the symbol? What was going on? Vic says, I don't know. Jade goes all Jack Bauer. He's like, tell me now. And Victor shuts down and frozen. Jade says, sorry. And then Jade does this thing where he tells you to fuck off, Tony. And then he comes through the more tactful approach. He's like, I'm sorry. Listen, I know this is scary, but you need to help me. And Victor says, everyone died. Christopher stopped smiling and he started to, I'd have to watch it again. Did he say changed or did he start to stop himself and start to say changed and then said something else? He changed, he stopped seeming like himself. And one night my mom told me to hide. And when I woke up the next morning, everyone was dead. There are bad things here that make people do bad things. He is sorry. So Tony, do real people turn into the monsters? Is this proof that real people turn into the monsters or kind of evidence?
It's proof that what I told you that the Don, I'm touching myself again because I'm talking about me. And the Don,
you earned it tonight, Tony. You earned it tonight.
I told you that when Victor came out of that bunker for the first time when we see the boy in white, and he's walking down that, and all those dead bodies are out there. I told you that it was this motherfucker that killed everybody, that he was the one who did it, that it was all, and that's why Victor had such a shock when he seen that ventriloquist dummy, because we still have no confirmation on it, but I still believe that guy used a ventriloquist dummy to entertain Victor and everybody else there, and that's what it was, and that's why they showed it twice. They showed it to Victor and they showed it to Jade. And the connecting factor between both of them is this dude right here. And that's why he was hiding in there. His mom told him to hide in there. And when they came out, he killed the mother. He killed everybody. And it looked like the monsters did it, but it wasn't the monsters did it. It was actually this dude who went crazy because of these goddamn symbols. And that's why I made the video, Will Jay Go Crazy? And it looks like Jay could do it. And that's facts. That's just putting together the things that I'm seeing on the show. And that's what we get.
Coco, excellent point. I love how Scott McCord is portraying all the little nuances of his trauma. Karma says, who took care of Victor until someone else came along? The boy, and I'm sorry I didn't read your whole question, but to quickly jump off that, the boy in white. The boy in white kept Victor alive. We haven't seen him a lot this season, so it's easy to forget about him. But he's the one that told Victor, stay over here, do this, move to this area right here. If Victor, I'm not saying Victor would not have stayed alive if it wasn't for the boy in white.
Yeah, no, listen, I when I did the video, the video I made, I asked the question, will Jay go crazy? I don't think he's actually going to go. I think he'll figure it out not to go crazy. But I knew that there's a possibility of him going crazy.
And Tony, that's kind of how I feel about Kenny as well. I don't think every single character will succumb 100%. I think what we saw with Kenny when he looked at everyone and had his moment of like, shit, I think I was saying this a little bit when we had Elizabeth on earlier. I think if the mother accepts it, Kenny's gonna understand. I think Kenny and Boyd will be back before the end of the season. I think Kenny's not going to come close to Breaking Bad and then make the right choice in the final moment. But you could be right. He could go full Breaking Bad.
Take the death of his mother. If his mom goes, that's it.
I'm with you, dude. I'd be riding on that bandwagon with you faster than you could say Cheese Whiz. I don't know why. I'm just trying to think of something.
Big Cheese Whiz. I'm fucking hungry, Phil.
I know. Sorry,
I'm hungry right here.
I have some spray on cheese in the kitchen and some crackers. I'm hungry. Okay, so anyways, so Jade says sorry, takes a tactful approach. Bad things happen. Okay, so we go to Jade looking at Chris's car for a second, and we go off to Tabitha in the woods playing Jenga. And she's straight up not fucking around anymore, Tony. She's like, I'm here. Big Tabitha episode. And we see a few scary kids approaching her saying, Kuya, Nuki, Kuya, Baremu, monsters be true. Whatever the hell they're saying. I've heard a couple of speculations on a couple of posts on Reddit. Someone spelled it out to something in Greek that says they are watching. There's a couple of other things that people have put speculations of what these things are saying, that it's something backwards, what they're saying, reverse it. They're saying, and you said something, and Tony, I swear to God, this was an example of, I wrote this recap before I watched your video, and listen to what I said. And Tabitha's trying not to be afraid. They all come at her like she's the mother of dragons or something, and they all touch her, and she screams, "Don't touch!" And it's creepy. I wish I didn't watch this before bed, because I watched this at midnight. And Tony said this in his video too. It was very Misa, 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 Mom. Yeah. It was very 100%. Them going out like so much like that, Tony. It was
100% the same thing, just like Game of Thrones. It's like, if y'all ain't used to it and never seen it, and seen with Daenerys, and she go that all the kids touch her, they say Misa Misa, which means mother in that language and everything else. And that's how she really gets the pin of the mother of dragons term. A kui. So I had somebody hit me in the comment section who said they were Greek.
Yeah, that's what I said. It says they're watching you. They're watching it, right?
Well, the Greek, he told me that it said like open your eyes, listen to us, or something like that. It meant something like that, like they were trying to tell us, listen to us, open, and things like that.
And the one I read, which again, I'm not saying either situation is correct until I can back it up. Someone that I saw spelled it out in a way and said that it means he is watching or something is watching. So
yeah, John Henderson says that he believes thank you for the super chat. He says, my theory, this is his theory, saying Victor is the boy Sarah was to kill. I believe it was the boy in white.
Yeah.
If you want to say they're one and the same, then you could say that, you know what I mean? But I think it was the boy in white.
Yeah, Tony, I don't like to always go down the lost road, but fuck it, I like going down the lost road. The boy in white, killing the boy in white could be very similar to to the Men in Black needing somebody to kill Jacob, who was also like the guy in white, essentially on Lost, the other side of the island to Smokey. and that's also something before, like with the Martin thing, where sometimes people need other people to kill them. So perhaps going after the boy in white is some cure to getting out of this game. It's like catching the white rabbit, essentially, in Alice in Wonderland a little bit. Okay, so let's continue here. So the Anakui Tabitha's trying to not be afraid, and they're all coming at her. She's reminding of me when I run into a swarm of moths. I'm like, no, get away, get away, get away. When she's like trying to bat them away and stuff. And you pointed this out as well. She stops, she gets out of it. Jade runs over and she's like, did you see that? And Jade's like, no, but it's the perfect person for her to bump into because Jade's seeing stuff right now too. So I hope they talk. But to that point, Tony, is there some Freddy Krueger shit going on here? Because her nose is bleeding. So is her nose bleeding because she was just running her head all like this? Or is it something when one of the kids, that one kid that they focused in on, that went like, hey, and like closed in, did that freaky ass kid cause her nose to bleed by putting something inside her or something? Well, do you think there was any significance to the nose bleeding situation?
No doubt about it. But before we do,
LT,
we have to acknowledge.
Oh, whoa, sorry, LT.
We have to acknowledge where the hell is the goddamn comment from my brother right here?
Let's give
the one, the only. The ladies' man. Let me make sure I'm not frozen. So the ladies' man himself, Sir L.T. Giles, is in the building. Raise the glass. I raised the cup to my brother.
We've said it before, and we'll circle back to from in a second. The very first stream that Tony and I ever did, LT was sitting in the Bridge 4 seat.
Yes, he was.
And great to see LT.
LT's been rocking with me on this channel since it's been a channel. I guess that's the best way I could put it. You know what I mean? He's been with me from day one. You know what I mean? And he's always rocked with me. He's always supported. He's always been. We used to do streams, drunk Game of Thrones streams, and LT was a part of that, rocking with us all the time.
He is the best. Good people. Unicorn in the live chat says, which is a good point, and something I thought about a little bit as well, not in association, just because it's probably the horror series I know the most. With Friday the 13th, with Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger was beaten in the first movie partially by ignoring him and not being afraid. And that is part of it in the sense of how Randall maybe handled the monsters. And Tony breaks that down a bit in his video. Make sure you check that out. So
I do think, but I do say that
nose bleeding.
I do say that that we go back to the nosebleed is significant. And I'm not going to say, because I'm going to put it in the video, so I'm not going to say exactly why, but I know already. I've already figured this whole situation out and everything else. So I will put it in the video. But yes, it is significant. Well,
yeah, there's something going on there, and I can't wait. Check that out. So we'll go off to seeing Randall building a trap or a lookout or something. Not sure what it is quite yet. I'm sure we'll find out in episode 6, but we do see a little bit more of that by the end of the episode. It looks like he built some hatch in the top of the bus and a lookout so he can kind of sit on the top of the roof and see if he can like talk shit to them and then fall in the bus at the last minute.
That's what it looks like he's gonna do.
Doesn't it?
See, if he had that rifle, he could jump on top of the bus, snipe a couple, jump back inside.
I think that's what he's sharpening the rock for, because he's gonna like throw it at them from the roof, and then if they come up, fall, like put himself back in and go, no, boo boo.
Jump back in there, close it down real quick, jump back up there again, snipe a couple of and then jump.
Okay, so we're on the same page. That's totally what it looks like, right? Yeah. Okay.
No doubt about it.
Okay. He's building a Home Alone trap basically right now.
He definitely looks like that's what this dude's up to.
He's Kevin McAllister in this whole fucking situation, Tony. He's not Randall, he's Kevin fucking McAllister, not Captain America. Okay, so he's doing some shit, and Jim comes up to Boyd and he's like, well, I don't think she's a killer. Well, I see just a broken kid. And Boyd is interesting in this scene, Tony, because Jim's offering all this information, and Boyd, again, almost like in the Martin scene, is like, don't tell me. He's like, Jim, don't say it. Don't say it. And it was kind of weird. But anyways, Jim tells him about the voice and that Tabitha's doing in the basement. And when he's saying all this, he's like, Jim, don't say it. Damn it, Jim. And Jim thinks people are watching and listening. Jim quotes Tony Teflon. Experiments have been going on since World War II. I don't know. I don't know what if they want. I'd love to. Oh yeah, I don't know what they want, but if Sarah can help, I'd love to hear it. Basically, is what he's saying. He says some shit's going on, and I'm almost essentially, you can count me on team. I don't think we should kill Sarah because if she's a key in any way to this place, there's other people watching, and this seems like something that they would want us to do. And I think so. Jim is sort of outsmarting himself out of killing her. And then just to end the episode here, because it's basically the end of the episode, we go over to Boyd going over to, oh no, we get the little montage here. Boyd. So in this scene, Tony, with Jim, I mean, we've talked about this a couple of weeks. This has been in the polls several times. Most times that we've done this, it's ended up Sarah should not be in the box. I don't think I've fully gotten what your answer to this situation is. What's your opinions of this whole, how, if you were in this town, how would it be hard for you if you were in Jim's situation as a father to come to this point where he's like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't kill her? I'm just curious of your take on this a little bit.
You can't kill her. It's just no way. She's connected to this place, as Father Khatri said, as no one else is. Father Khatri says it. This girl could be the key of all of us getting out of here. They didn't just put that line in there to put it in there. She is the key of everyone getting out of there. She has something to do with it. You can't get rid of her. I think that in past, like I said it before, that I think that all these people have been there before.
Yeah.
Right. This is all this, the
loop.
Duplicates of people coming from alternate dimensions. I think in the past dimensions, they have killed her. Probably every time she's died. Every time they've gotten rid of Sarah, they've killed her. And that's why they all die. And this is going to be the time right now where they don't kill her and she saves everybody. As again, I think these are all alternate dimension people,
like
different. And I think that that's what's happened. They've killed her 1,000 times over. And this will be the one time that they do not kill.
Almost like a multiverse thing on the
definitely a multiverse.
Justice League cartoon did something where the Flash was killed and then all the Justice League people became the Justice Lords and evil because the Flash was killed. This is like a reverse situation where if Sarah isn't killed, it could lead to good things in possible situations. As Lauren says in the live chat, she's a tool for all these voices. She's easily manipulated. I think she's not making it to season 3, but she'll get a redemption saving Ethan. And that's what Tony was mentioning earlier, that she could possibly get some sort of redemption situation. Wolf spared Groundhog's Day. Whenever Tony talks about that too, something else, I think maybe even if it's not from multiple dimensions that people are coming from, something similar to the Matrix, in the sense that once the people revolt to a certain point, they just hit a reset button. There's that scene where Neo's talking, and I think I understand it correctly, talking to Colonel Sanders there, the creator, and he's just like, yeah, you're like the 7th Neo here, or whatever. We've done this many times before. So I could see something similar to that going on in this situation. I tend to think it's more a 1-for-1, and this is, people, but I definitely see the tea leaves that people see with the multiple timeline generations things as well. The Flash is a ladies' man. Kenny is not. Good point. So our next scene that we get into is Boyd going into the diner to talk to Tien Chen, and we get the Roy Orbison song "Dreams." So while Tony's getting back, I'll read the lyrics to "Dreams" as we get a montage of at the end of our episode. Which is different, very Sons of Anarchy montage here at the end. Candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep, everything is all right. I close my eyes, then I drift away into the magic night. I softly say a silent prayer like dreams do. Then I fall asleep to my dreams of you. So I think it keeps going on there, and there's a lot of other stuff. But the candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes into my room every night. I think that's the important line in that song.
It is.
That kind of.
It is. And listen, if you want to say that this is a proof that they're trying to say that this is just in everybody's head, that this is just a dream. We've heard it say, the other guys say, what if Abby was right Is this just a dream? We're getting a bunch of dream references, but it could not. Maybe it's not just a dream. It could be a Matrix situation where
Yeah, I was
it's just
talking about
not
that,
real.
but when you were away, like with the even if I'm not going all the way with the multiple timelines, a Matrix like repeating the cycle over and over again, I definitely feel that. Luna says Phil Boyd needs to admit he doesn't have all the answers. The Fromville could work together to find a way. Maybe that's the point of the experiment, partially too, and that when they get to the point where to connect with Tony's thing, when they get to the point where they do connect, that's when the flood kicks in, and perhaps this will be our group that can figure it out. So I mentioned this earlier. The worms seem to be dancing to the music. Then we go off to the montage. Chrissy is changing into the t-shirt, converting into her connective couple form with Mari, and Mari has a drug problem. She sneaks in, steals Tilly's morphine, and drops a couple drops down her throat. Ethan gives Sarah, Tony, the biggest stink eye this side of Mississippi.
It was the oh my God, Lady Mormont stink
It
eye.
was a little lady where it was bad lunch face going on. And Sarah, I love you, Sarah, but how dumb are you to smile at him? She just walks by, gives him the smile, like, keep your head down. I've pissed off enough people in my life, Tony, that when I know I have to walk past one of those people I pissed off, or would you keep your head down? Don't make eye contact. No looking at people, no smiling. She looked up at Ethan and she smiled. She deserved to get that stink eye.
Yeah, our Lipstick Club says, "Where's my flowers? Did I not say the girlfriend was an addict in your video comments?"
You
Teflon
did,
TV.
Anna.
You definitely did say that she was 100%.
Give Anna her fucking flower. I
Give her
agree.
her flowers.
Celebrate those victories as much as you have to eat chips on your defeats. So Ethan gives the stink eye to Sarah. We go off to the bus, and we talked about this a little bit more, Tony, but yeah, Randall puts the seat on the roof and sharpens the knife. I think he's going to try to snipe these dudes from the roof with a knife.
Snipe them, trap them inside the bus, something.
No, I
is
think he's
gonna
going to use the bus as an escape.
That's what it seems like. It's an escape. Like, what if he, it could go both ways, right? Could he get them to come through the front door, then escape through the top, put the talisman down there, and then shut the top, and now they're stuck in there? Could he pull that off? He could do that, or he could be on top of the bus and snipe them. Then when they get close, jump back inside the bus and be safe. So it could go either way. Both of them seems like that it could happen.
It's a booty trap. Booby trap. That's what I said. Booty trap. So we go back into it, and Boyd comes into the room to go to Kenny's mom, and this was a very well played out scene. We talked about this with her as well. She didn't say anything, and Boyd just like, I hope we can talk. And with the music playing, it was just like kind of like a perfect ending to the episode. And that's the end of our episode, Tony. Great episode. I like this one a lot more than the last two. Not that I didn't like the last two, but I would rank this episode higher for me than the last two episodes.
Yeah, I would too also. And I know a lot of people are just sitting here like, we're not getting the answers. We're not getting. I thought that we would get more coming this episode, and we did. We got the answer with the picture with Jade. They've answered that question with us. You know what I mean? So I said this was going to be the downhill slope of the roller coaster where all the action starts to pick up when you hit that episode. And I think it's coming true, and that's what it is and stuff like that. So I think it's about to turn up. Everyone we have brought on this show has said episode 6 is the episode where it all goes the fuck.
But
right?
Tony, something about this episode 6 is we can do a little preview here of our thoughts here, because I feel like this was a good episode and this ended a lot of stuff and it kind of set up a few things, but for real the big horrifying stuff that they're setting up for this episode 6 thing, I feel like wasn't as set up in this episode or foreshadowed in this episode as I thought it was going to be. I still have no clue what exactly this is. I know we haven't seen a nighttime in 3 episodes.
Yep.
Or we did at the beginning of this episode with Randall, but that doesn't really count.
That was a cold open.
We haven't seen a like full nighttime episode in a while. Is it the wedding? Possibly. I don't know if the wedding's going to be this soon in the season. That could be the episode 10 thing. It could be the wedding. But I don't think episode 6 is the red wedding of the show, as some people are calling it. So
No,
I'm not
too soon.
exactly sure. Is it Kenny freaking out and wanting to put Sarah in the box or something like that? I don't see that being so. And then the monsters come out in the daytime or something like that, or is it I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things that this one could be, Tony. That's going to be this big, scary, over the top episode. I'm excited. I'm really excited
Yeah,
for it.
we'll definitely get into it more on the theory stream that happens this Wednesday. We'll talk more about it and everything else. We talked about it before. We had a couple of pictures. I put a couple of pictures up in there that we threw up in there from the trailer that seemed like it was taking place at nighttime and stuff. And we'll talk more
Yeah, we're
about
due
that in
for a
the theory.
nighttime episode, Tony. We're due for like a full nighttime episode.
Yeah, we have to get something that's gonna happen tonight. Because we're due for the creatures to come out there and to make some fucking havoc.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
we haven't seen we Smiley needs to show up. We need some more
We
Smiley.
haven't seen it. He's on the promo footage, so you think he must have an important role to play, or he's just the most famous of the monsters, so they put him on there. But you would think that he would have a bigger role to play in there and stuff.
No,
everything.
Chris, never. IMDb is good for some things, but you learn at one point in everyone's watching something, you learn that IMDb is not a resourceful thing to go on things like that. Like, oh, it says 16 episodes. They're only in 16 episodes. No, it's just that they haven't updated it yet. It's one of those sites that individuals update. So it's true. Maybe all of them die in episode 6. It's possible. And if I come back, I'll take a big shot on the stream or something, like a shot of some alcohol I don't like or something. But I think it's IMDb is sketchy to use as a source. It's better after season's over to use just for referential purposes. It's great for that. But anytime a sentence starts with "I saw something on IMDb XXX," it usually doesn't end up true.
Yeah, I agree. I would be take it with a grain of salt what you see in there during the season. Anyone can post on their IMDb and modify
Yeah,
it.
it's an open forum, can modify it. Like we could say that Tony Teflon shows up in episode 8,
And maybe I will put that in there. This is for you guys.
maybe.
Maybe I will put
No,
that in there.
Jackie, I'm sorry. You're like a shot on. You take shots on. I couldn't think of anything else. I'm not even a hot chip for that. I'm not even. I meant take a shot at something I hate, like Jack Daniels or something gross or something.
Oh, fucking Sambuca. Who likes that disgusting stuff?
Phil, give me your best theory about what Fromville is all about. Well, make sure you tune into Wednesday's show. We'll get more into theories and stuff.
We'll do all the theories and stuff on Wednesday. Gotta give us a chance to rewatch the episode a couple of
somewhere
times.
between Truman Show and The Matrix.
And we'll talk about that, and I'll give everything else out there and stuff like that. But I got to get up out of here. It's almost 1:00 in the morning here. The Don does have a job, and I have to wake up in the morning.
I gotta be up early too,
and go to work. And I'm sure a lot of you other people got jobs too. You know what I mean? Let me thank again. Thank you for subscribing to the channel.
Shorty.
You know what I mean? Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Who just subscribe, everyone. Thank you for anyone who liked the video. Thank you for anyone who's become a member. We will be doing member-only streams soon. Like any After Dark stream is a member-only stream, right? So make sure if you want to.
Tony, should we take the one voicemail before we say goodnight?
We will take the one voicemail. Then we will say goodnight.
It's from Anna. That's why we got a message from Anna. Here we go. Let's play Anna's message.
Tony, Phil, two of my faves. It's Anna, Red Lipstick Club. Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone in the chat. Okay, so I have a question for you guys. Do you think what's happening to Sarah, with everyone coming down on her, it kind of feels a little bit like cancel culture a little bit? Do you feel like they're trying to reflect things that happen in the real world in this scenario and seeing how people react to it? And I'm curious, like, is she going to kill herself, or, you know, like, how much can a person take? It kind of feels like being like cyberbullied or something along those lines. So I'm kind of curious where that storyline is going to go. Also, I know we've had lots of requests for an After Dark. I did tell Tony if he does want to plan one of those later, you guys, that we can maybe do it for a members only So if we have enough members, maybe we'll do an After Dark. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is an example of like cyberbullying or cancel culture with the whole Sarah scenario and having just like one person that reaches out to you that maybe can save you? Maybe dealing with like how suicide maybe works. I don't know. I'm curious. Do you think she's going to end up killing herself? What's going to happen? This episode was fantastic. Love you both. Talk to you later.
Thank you. All right. So people have, so what is After Dark? After Dark is a, how do we describe it, Phil? It's a
Anything goes discussion that's based around
sexual behavior.
Sexual behavior. Think about like love, not just questions, games, fun stories.
Yeah, we play games and we have questions and we're very open about sexual stuff. It's an adult only conversation and stuff. So that's basically what the After Dark stuff is and everything else.
It's like Colony House at like late night at Colony House.
Yeah, that's basically what it is and everything else. All right. Now, as for the question of cyberbullying, I would say more of that than cancel culture. I would say that, you know what I mean, and everything else. So how do you become a member? You just go on the screen, Phil, right? When you go on a page, actual Teflon TV page where it says subscribe, there's like member, become a member.
If you go to the main channels, you can see the member stuff right there.
Yeah, and the After Dark, we always have beautiful women on there talking about a lot of stuff. So
Whoa.
it ain't me, it's Phil.
Whoa, Lauren. Lauren says, will Phil lose the turtleneck and show some skin? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But it's only member only because it's a very adult and we can't have that stuff out there. It's a safe space because you could say what you want and not have to worry about the whole world seeing, right? Because we keep it only. Usually we delete it after it's done. It's a one and done thing. And we have 5 gifted soldier memberships have been out. So let's name all 5 people who were just gifted the memberships by C10. And thank you so much. We have Flood 71 has just become a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We'll go through all 5 of them and then we will be out of here after and everything else. But no, it's not Nick at Night.
Yeah, definitely not Nick at Night. And then
CB Kale has just become a member.
Yeah, and CB Kale's been awesome in the chat all night. Thank you so much, CB.
We have 3 more, I think will be.
Yeah, it's Gage Brown.
Gage Brown has just become a member. Thank you so much.
A Little Nay.
No one's gifts Jackie C a membership. Jeez, come on, somebody.
And it's random. So they just pick someone random in the chat.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Bobby
Little Nay has become a member.
And Bobby Novaks.
And Bobby Novak. I thought you'd actually too, but it just picks random people.
Yeah, it's like a random number draw.
Well, thank you so much for putting out there. Thank you for everyone. And yes, we will, as long as we have enough, people's members to make it worthwhile for the stream, we will do an After Dark stream. Usually that
Whoa, people open up the wallet so Phil can show some skid and Tony eat some hot chocolate. I'll have to give my individual donation for skin. I gotta Tony and I have to create our fucking OnlyFans page or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you for everyone joining us and everything. All right, we're gonna get up out of here.
Kidding.
Let me thank everyone. Let me thank Carla Way because I just seen him.
Yeah, no. Let's not thank anyone.
Carla Way for being here, and all of you and everyone who has liked the video and subscribed. Everyone, T-Ville, all y'all. Thank y'all for everyone, and especially let me thank the beautiful, the great Elizabeth Moy for coming out here and rocking with us. Our girl Mika's in the building rocking with us.
She was.
Thank you so much for everyone involved. Elizabeth Moy, thank you for coming on and rocking with us and everything else and all of that. And she just it's a great time rolling with her and everybody else. We had over 300 people here rocking with us. Hopefully you hit that thumbs up for you boys and everything else. And we'll be back Wednesday night with the theory stream. We're back here Wednesday. We'll go over the video a couple of times. I'll drop a video in between there, and then we'll go over all these theories that we have. This is the big episode that everyone has been hyping up. Episode 6 is coming up. We're going to see if it lives up to expectation and everything else. I really think it has to because they've all said it. Everyone, who's come on this show. Every one of these actors have
No, they're talking it up, Tony.
all said episode
Do you know
6,
why
episode 6.
Muhammad Ali is the best of all time? Because he talked shit about Sonny Liston, then he went and knocked his ass out. That's
right.
why. No, if he didn't knock Sonny's ass out, no, don't be.
And then he did the same thing when he came back and did it to George Foreman.
George Foreman again.
Foreman
Yep,
was
really.
considered to be unstoppable, right?
George, you can't hit me, George. You can't hit me, George.
You know what I mean? So we'll see. And as Carla Way said, every Sunday is pancake day for her in the morning.
Ooh.
Let's make Sunday a pancake and tea day. So when you wake up every Sunday morning, let's be making some pancakes and out there and everything else and all that. All right, we'll be back. I'll see y'all in a couple of days. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the route, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace